Right?
Facebook is ass. They're removing the trending area, and they're not going to let you see as many memes anymore. Everybody delete your Facebook now. We're moving over to Zynga.
Dude, I would use Zynga again. It's a bunch of HTML.
Throwback. All right.
Throwback.
Well, okay.
Throwback.
So,
Joseph.
hoping that we don't get taken down this evening, let's get going.
Yeah, it looks like we were already taken down. They deleted us already.
I feel deleted.
So does this mean that after this we got to find a new theme song because we basically used this theme song for a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down. I had fun making the first one.
New year, new theme song.
Can we do Nickelback, please?
Joseph and I will do like another 30-minute writing session to create a new.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Beers of the Round Table.
Look at this podcast. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
So I'm Brad, as you know, with Zach, Joseph, Scott, and Bobby, as always. This is our 1 year episode, and we're super excited to share it with everybody.
Thanks for being a part of this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
This has been a fun year of beer discovery and general alcoholism.
20 more years, and then we can start actually pouring beer onto the round table.
Yeah.
Not alcoholism, but alcoholinism.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
All right, so we've got 3 beers for this episode. We'll see if we get through all of them. I pulled out some special things from my cellar for you guys, so you better. All right, feedback. So y'all better be appreciative of this stuff. I've got the highly acclaimed, it says so on the label, KBS from Founders.
Ooh.
This is a very special beer that they pull out once a year. You're very lucky to get it. It doesn't go to many places, especially in Texas. So we should count ourselves lucky tonight. If you could hand me that bottle opener, Mr. Zach.
Yes, I would love to, actually. Thank you.
This is a flavored stout, is also what the label says. This is generally one of those nice, super barrel-aged stouts. Good stuff all around.
You're good stuff all around.
Is everybody?
You can really taste the barrel, I think.
Pass the bottle around. Just pour a little bit, and we'll keep
A little splash.
we'll keep going around.
Splasharoo, so they say.
That smells amazing. So while we're pouring this glass, let me just kind of talk about how tonight's going to work. We've all got a topic tonight. Tonight we're all the topic master.
Yeah.
Collectively, as corny as that is. So how do we want to start this? Do we want to just do a round table, or do we want to do a star pattern? Do we want to
Round robin.
I think we do. I think we do clockwise motions.
Clockwise? Starting with
to
who?
show with the time. That's anti-clockwise, dude. It's counterclockwise.
Well, starting with who? The clock has to start somewhere.
You have to
Start
start.
with
You
you, dude.
start.
Okay, we're
dude.
gonna start with me.
Yeah, either one's talking.
Okay, we're gonna start by losing all of our listeners with my super nerdy tech topic that really only applies to a very small minority. There might be a few
to
jobs.
us.
Okay, so you guys know about mechanical keyboards, right? I mean,
Absolutely not.
yeah.
Explain.
we're all PC
Yeah.
master race here. We're in safe company. So Scott here recently just bought a new mechanical keyboard. Why don't you,
Yeah. Sorry.
well, yeah, you should be. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your mechanical keyboard that you just bought?
Yeah, so I just was, I don't know. I had some extra cash, so I thought I'd actually splurge and get a mechanical keyboard because I've had the same mesh keyboard for I think since middle school. So yeah,
It's time.
Yeah, it's about time.
Good for you.
So yeah, I got as people call in the mechanical world, I guess the blue keys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
Cherry MX Blues.
Cherry MX Blues, right?
Yeah.
And it was just a pretty standard one. I have no lights or anything like that, so it was only
What was the brand? Was it?
it's TAC Force or something. I don't know, some weird brand.
Where'd you buy it from?
Amazon.
Amazon.
But
Okay.
like I said, it was
Nice.
only
Amazon.
$26.
Yeah, I mean,
think,
that's definitely decent.
But like I said, it is the base of the base.
Of course,
you
yeah.
get none of the cool stuff that
Yeah.
people want in
Right.
mechanical keyboards, and it doesn't have the number pad part.
Oh.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if people care about that.
Yeah.
I
But
like my
then
10
Honestly, the really hardcore mechanical enthusiasts are getting as small as they possibly can.
yeah, they get the
But why?
I forget what it's called.
Ortholinear.
It's like a
For minimalist sake.
I think it's like a 54% is what
No,
they call it.
like
Is it?
so it's like what you've got is probably around a 65%. Does it have the arrow keys?
Yes, it
So
does.
it's like that's probably like a 65%. But like what the really hardcore enthusiasts are making
Is
are
it a
like 40% and less.
40%. Okay.
Yeah.
They also do this weird thing where they actually do block stacking on top of or for the keys.
Yeah.
So
straight
the
up
spacing's weird.
Straight up grid pattern instead of
Oh,
your
wow.
staggered normal layout.
Yeah, but I mean, and
What?
the cool thing about
it's,
it, though,
it's just a fad right now. I feel like. Well,
the cool thing about it is I was able to just buy keycaps,
Yeah, yeah.
and like replace it. So like I have kind of like the old like colored shift, control, and alt that's like blue, green, and red.
Right.
And then I replaced my arrow keys and my WASD with orange, and then I have like a red escape button.
Yeah,
Cool.
So to give a little bit of background for our listeners that may not be completely familiar, like so you've got like the more prevalent keyboards today are like your rubber dome keyboards. You know, it's just a regular keyboard. But like when we start talking about mechanical keyboards, the Cadillac of keyboards, you know, those are your nice clicky keyboards. When you hit it, it makes a noise for you. It doesn't
you
just
feel it.
It doesn't just succumb to the rubber underneath it. It's got a switch. I know
And a spring.
Yeah, this
Brad,
is-
why don't you
it's-
demonstrate that with
so,
your tester
I mean,
kit right
so
there?
That's what a mechanical keyboard sounds like right there. That's satisfaction.
And it feels good. It feels super good.
Now I'm hitting a key on my MacBook, and yeah, I don't think you
even
can
think
hear
it's
that.
coming through the mic.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, for people that type for a living, that's us.
Holy shit, we do.
Yeah. No, I was actually just recently realizing this. I was like, I type for a living. I deserve a good keyboard. So, I mean, you know, your mechanical keyboards are just going to have that really good feel on it. You know, we've got these nice clicky ones that have like a nice tactile.
Well, it's
feel to
also
it.
actually better for you. It helps prevent.
It's more ergonomic.
Yeah,
Man, yeah. You saying that if you type for a living, then you should definitely check out a mechanical. Wow, that just justified my purchase of a really expensive ass keyboard.
But like, I mean, it helps against what is the hand thing?
Carpal tunnel.
Yeah, it helps
Yeah.
against carpal
Carpal
tunnel.
tunnel.
Really? I didn't
It's
know
like
that.
it does
Yeah.
because of the thing is that you have also greater travel distance with
Well,
your fingers, and it also is usually higher sitting, so you're more having to ball up your hands, which is how you're supposed to technically type.
Conversely, you can have less travel distance. It's easier to type on them because the thing with like rubber dome keyboards is you have to bottom out those keys to get it to activate.
Right.
But with a mechanical keyboard, you really only have to press past that tactile bump. That's when it activates. You don't have to
Right.
bottom it out.
Generally speaking, though, a lot of people now have been having to type more on, and this is common with a lot of different keyboards that you see coming out from like major manufacturers like Dell. They've moved over to the chiclet design where it's like the S cross like little thing that you actually press down on.
Apple's all about the scissor design right now.
Butterflies.
Butterflies.
The
yeah.
butterflies, and a lot of new keyboards that you get from the factory are like that too. And because of it, it's a great thing and a bad thing at the same time. Yes, travel distance can be lessened on that, but just in general, the great thing about the mechanical is that the keys do sit so high that requires you to keep your wrists up and actually still follow that ball pattern that you were taught in typing
It
class
encourages
back in high
good,
school.
good typing patterns, which
Also, my keyboard's like waterproof too.
yeah, and so like that's the
Yeah.
thing about mechanical switches is that you know your membrane keyboards or your scissor keyboards are going to wear out a lot quicker. Like especially the scissor types are like break really
Yeah,
easily.
they break super easy.
Mechanical keyboards, if you take care of them, they'll last
I
decades.
think mine was saying it had like, I think it was like 100 million clicks guaranteed
Yeah.
Wow.
per key or
like
something
they're
like
just
that.
they're just mechanically built better to last forever.
I came
And then
across one in the wild one time that was really old.
yeah, and like because like that used to be just how all keyboards were made was mechanical.
Yeah.
If you can find an old IBM keyboard,
My
that-
parents have
I think
one.
it was an IBM.
Yeah, so what they use is buckling springs instead
Ooh.
of switch. So what happens is once you've like pressed the spring down a certain point, it snaps with a magnet, which makes just a really loud clack.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Dude, I really want to find that now.
I mean,
yeah,
my
absolutely.
parents have one. I'll see if I can bring it up next
Yes,
time.
There
please,
you go.
please.
cry.
But yeah, and then like you were saying with replacing your keycap set, that's the other like cool benefit of mechanical keyboards is that you can get these fancy colored keycaps or like a custom set like I'm gonna get, and then like just completely customize the keyboard to make it your own. And then like if you're a dirty person and like get your keycaps dirty all the time, you can just take all those keycaps off. And I've heard of people like putting them in a bag and putting it in a dishwasher and just
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I liked about. I've only had mine, I guess, a week now, and it's just it's been cool. Like even just gaming on it, I've noticed an improvement. Just cause
yeah, they're great for gaming.
It's
It's very popular in esports right now.
Yes. Oh, bottle opener.
we need a bottle opener. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I love it so far, and I'm thinking about getting one for my work as well.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can get one at work.
Yeah, he did. He drank it all.
Oh, damn.
One of the things that we've also been talking about too here on Beers of the Round Table, we also are all members of our parent company, obviously, Flipbit Studios.
Flipbit Studios,
where we do software development, IT consulting, website, everything, cybersecurity, general computing, and so we have our own logo for that too. And one great thing about, as Brad said, and this kind of feeds back into it, we all type for a living, and we're desk jockeys. And a keyboard, whenever you really do think about it, is a very intimate thing to a computer scientist, a developer, and one of the things.
Your rig.
Yeah, it is part of your rig, and it's the one thing that you actually see and look at and have presented on a regular basis. So one of the great things about that, too, about changing out keycaps, is there's a lot of different sources where you can have custom keycaps made for you. One of the things that we're talking about is having our Flipbit logo created as a keycap for the Windows, or if you're using a Mac, a command key replacement. Yeah. For the mechanical keyboards, and it provides that level of intimate customization that you won't find anywhere else in any kind of cool Amazon
I mean, like
deal.
I showed you guys the one online where it was someone had replaced all the keys with Pokemon.
Yep.
That started with that letter.
Yeah, I've seen some people that just go completely archaic, and they've all the printed keys that they sell on Woz keyboards, they just replace their entire keyboard with just all of them, even if they were duplicates. So you had no idea what those keys were. It was just just a jumble of different printed keys, different logos and stuff on them.
That's pretty.
I had an idea where before you guys even got over here, we were talking. I was like, it would be cool is that if you had binary and you just had the ASCII values in binary for each key or something like that.
And I was telling them I saw a build on the mechanical keyboard subreddit. Somebody made a 2-key keyboard with a 0 and a 1 that had a little LED readout on the top of it, and it shows the binary number he's typing, and then he puts in 8 bits and it translates that to the ASCII code and sends it to the computer.
Hard mode, dude.
I am not.
You can make it into a artistic statement. Some of these ones that Brad was showing me, because a lot of keyboards are RGB, backlit. You have these guys that are coming up with the one that Brad showed me specifically was a galaxy printed one where it was actually a galaxy and all the stars, like a Milky Way, all the dust across the keyboard. And you can only imagine how that would look with a fading backlight on the behind of that keyboard right there too. That customizability acts as an artistic statement for your desk, whether it be in your home office or at your work office, man.
Yeah, honestly, if you go to the mechanical keyboard subreddit and start just browsing top by all, you can see some of the trends over the past couple of years for that subreddit. They've been all about they were really super into the aesthetic trend, and vaporwave, and then there was a few you'll like this, a few on there that people are like, oh, my Hotline Miami vibe.
That'd be awesome.
I would love that right there too. But that's the thing is that you can customize it to anything you possibly want. Okay, you can talk about getting a custom computer case all day long for your rig, for your gaming rig or something like that. Sometimes your work might assign you a device, and you don't get a choice over what it's going to look like. It's going to be the space gray MacBook or a black Dell desktop or whatever the case may be. But the one thing that you can usually always customize to make it yours is going to be that mechanical keyboard, man. And I think, personally, after you said that one thing right there, where it's whenever you live and your job is typing, man. It really is important to have something that you're going to enjoy to type on and something that's going to look good whenever you sit down at your desk in the morning at 8 a.m. You're like, man, everything sucks. I don't want to be here right now. And then you see that, and it's just this beautiful desktop right there.
Now, putting a disclaimer out there before you go and be like, oh, damn, I'm going to go get me a mechanical keyboard with big old loud MX Blue switches and take it to my open concept office with all my coworkers in close proximity.
Don't do that.
Think about it for a second. Do consider the people around you. You'll really enjoy the clicky.
It's pretty loud.
Not everybody else does.
It's kind of like the same rules whenever you sit there, and you got to kind of think of it is this going to piss off my coworkers? If I microwave this egg in the microwave, is it going to make everybody want to kill me?
Yeah.
And that's definitely something to be considerate of. And like
Well, but
if
you
somebody
can-
has like an annoyance with you, it just multiplies the damage more, right, Bobby?
Bikes.
Yeah. So, but like there is a solution. A lot of places do sell like Woz Keyboard sells like silencers for the switches, which is basically
the rubber dampers.
Yeah. So it's like a rubber band that like goes around the stem of the inside of the keycap, and so whenever you bottom out, it hits that rubber band instead of the plastic.
It's like a mute.
And
There's
you can
actually-
get those in different colors as well. So if you
Exactly.
have see-through keys, you can actually add color that way as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
There was it's kind of a while back. So I think about like a year ago or so. But I did see a mechanical keyboard that was adjustable at like Best Buy, and you hold down the function key and you would like hit them, and it would change the amount of clickiness per key. And
that's fucking weird.
I was like, this is weird. And I've never seen it before. And I was like, dude, this how much is it? And it was like $145.
That's the other thing is mechanical keyboards are not cheap.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not,
And-
and there's a lot of different ways you can. There's the one that you can actually grow like a chia garden underneath the keys, which is like really cool. Or you can get like the bamboo finish or the circle keys, whatever
Or
you
can
feel like.
chew off your
Yeah, you can
fingernails
get the
I saw
what
that
is that
picture.
called? The old. You can get typewriter keys
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
Yeah, and like just like I was telling Zach earlier
Those are
before
super hard to
everybody
use.
got here, like I was looking into this and I was like, I'm looking to build my own from scratch, and like when I was looking into it, people are like, "Oh, you can build your own keyboard. This is not cheaper. It's a lot more expensive actually to build your own
man.
keyboard to even buy a pre-built mechanical keyboard." But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. But
Yeah, I'm excited to get one because I have one that I bought and it was like, oh, this is mechanical, and I was like, this is only $30, and I got it, and it doesn't make noise.
Aw.
Yeah, I guess I got lucky. I got a pretty good deal on one.
yeah, so like
Mine was okay.
There, like, so, well, like, I usually talk about the Cherry MX switches, like, that's what these all are. There are a lot of off-brand switches that...
CM Storm.
Yes. Well, yeah, CM Storm, like, Razer started making their own
Yeah.
switches. Razer, I have a Razer keyboard that still has Cherry MX switches in it before they started making their own, because now it's all Razer-branded switches. And really, that's just a way for them to, like, make a lesser quality switch, but sell it for the same price as like a Cherry MX switch.
Yeah.
Because like Cherry is like the
Bastards.
original, like the OG
Yeah.
switches. So, but there are other brands I've heard of out there that people say are just as good as Cherries, and they prefer them just for different reasons.
I
But-
think technically mine is not a Cherry, but it is the exact same. Like it's the
like
exact
the same like or like same like what they're going for as far as
It's
feel
same
and sound.
feel, and it has the same, I guess, keycap type to
Right,
it.
yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, mine was a Tomoko keyboard,
Yeah.
and the only reason I got that is because I got a Tomoko wireless mouse recently, so I just matched my mouse to my keyboard.
So I guess what I'm saying is, go down to your local Best Buy. They generally have a couple of mechanical keyboards on display, and feel for yourself and decide if it's right for you.
Yeah, do it.
But I'm going to go ahead and pass the buck. But before we do that, I think it's time to crack open it.
The next one right there.
Next beer.
The next beer.
Well, this isn't good, you guys. This beer was a 12.3%,
Holy shit!
and we all downed that,
Could
and
you,
just
could you imagine having the whole bottle to yourself?
oh
though?
yeah, I've done that before.
Oh yeah.
Oh, don't worry, he's been there before.
This isn't
Okay.
his first rodeo.
So do we want you're better at Greek sounding names, I assume.
Wait, how would you?
Hephaestus?
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus?
Why did you?
Wait, why would you think that he would be great?
Y'all have all played a lot more God of War than I have.
I'm also Greek.
You're not Greek. Yeah, there's no
Paul is
way
a
in
Greek
Greek.
god.
If
Or,
you,
I have a friend named Mark, and he's Greek. So
if you're Greek, then if you're Grecian or Greek, then I'm South Polian.
You're not?
you're not.
Okay, so our other choice is pottery. Pottery.
That's also Greek.
Pottery.
No, I'm
I don't
joking.
know.
I actually don't know. Is that Greek?
I have no idea.
It looks like it.
The shorter one.
Let's go with the shorter one.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's go with the shorter.
Hephaestus?
Hephaestus. The story of
You
Hephaestus
couldn't read
goes.
Hephaestus?
What?
You couldn't read Hephaestus?
Isn't
that the god of the forge?
Get a new knife.
That
Who makes-
12.3 is
It's
getting
the
to
god
me.
of the forge.
Or,
get
I
a-
mean, not god of
you
the
get a new
forge, but
knife set?
he
Huh? You
made
get a
all
new
the
knife?
weapons
Yeah.
for...
No, this is my old one. I actually had to. So back in the day, I'll get to this whenever we get over to my turn. But whenever we went up to Colorado, I had to actually fix my knife, and Colorado was fucking weird. But I'll get to that in a second.
Well, if we're going clockwise, I think is how we decided it earlier, right?
yeah, clockwise, that would be
That's Bobby.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't want to bring anyone down, but I kind of wanted to talk Trump, but I also kind of want to talk about the video games that recently got announced because that's actually better. So I guess
Up to you, man.
I guess technically, I'll just say this is recent news. So in recent news, Trump's being kind of an idiot again. I guess if you guys want to go ahead as far as say that, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys saw earlier where.
When did he stop being an idiot?
I don't know, man. You're right. But with the whole North Korea thing that's happening and everything like that.
That tastes like brisket.
Whoa, I cannot wait.
I don't know why. It just
I don't
gets
know
more
if
brisket.
you guys saw this recently, but there was a letter that was sent from North Korea.
Coming from.
There was a letter sent from North Korea to the U.S., and Trump had an interview about it, right? And they were all asking him questions about, like, hey, like, so what's the letter? How's the letter going? You know, and, you know, it's like, oh, it's a brilliant letter. You know, it's like, oh, it's fantabulous. Like, it's everything we would imagine the letter to be. It's the letter of letters. Basically, you know, doing what Trump does.
I just don't understand it, man.
And then after that, like, within the same interview, like, I guess 5-8 minutes later, someone asked, like, so how's your response going to be to this letter? And Trump says, oh, I haven't even read the letter yet. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And everyone's okay with it. So I think what I'm kind of getting to is, at this point, don't take everything too seriously, because it's like,
Nothing is real.
It's past
Nothing
that
is
point.
real.
Like,
Dude, I think Trump is just an interdimensional being. He can't keep track anymore of once he's flickering between.
He's the lizard king.
Yeah, I just didn't
The
understand
Lizard
it.
King.
And then
And he jumped from one universe where he had read the letter to a universe where he hadn't, and
he had to find the right one. This is the one where people don't listen to us. So, among other things, he also invited Kim Kardashian to talk about prison reform.
yeah, what the fuck, man? Oh yeah.
Of
Oh my
anyone
God.
ever,
What
why?
I learned about that actually was Kim Kardashian is working with someone or was working with someone who was unfairly arrested.
I hate the Kardashians.
And it was like, I think she was like 57 years. It's an old woman, I think. So she's
Yeah,
trying
it's
to like
an old ass woman.
Yeah, she's trying to get her off, which is like admirable. But I was like, who the fuck would have thought?
Wait,
Like,
she's trying to get her off?
she's trying to get her off of this because she's on. God
Wait, so
damn it.
Kim Kardashian
Dude,
is
I
trying
think-
to get off this old ass woman who's in
But
jail.
it's like.
No, I think the
this
thing
not-
is that he's extending out an olive branch because of what Kanye said, defending Trump kind of deal like that. Of
course he
and
is.
so it's like
And
in
all
order-
the scoopity poop.
Yeah, man, there's so much fucking weird.
Could you imagine
shit
Trump
going on.
and Kardashian's baby? What it would look like?
Don't talk about that, dude. End stream. Thanks for watching tonight, guys. We're going home.
No, so like I thought that was crazy. It was like, is this not like a reality TV show? It's like you have some guy who used to be reality, both people who were TV stars meeting up at one time and they're talking about prison reform.
Let me ask
And
you
it's like,
something.
fuck.
And there was a
Jesus
gif on
Christ, there's so much
Reddit
wrong
today
with
of Kim
this.
Kardashian like forgetting her baby.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an old one though.
Is it?
She did that. She did that a couple of years ago.
I still find it.
The thing that gets me though, would you imagine if seeing that happen and
Seeing what happened?
seeing Kim Kardashian meeting with President Barack Obama or President
No.
George Bush?
No.
because also got to.
I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat.
Yeah. 'Cause
no one would
Where
take her
else would this?
seriously.
Where else would this?
You
Where
also,
else would this happen?
This is
They
also
shouldn't
the
take her
only one of the
seriously.
only presidents who, like, honestly, is the only president who's has Twitter beef with people. Speaking
Yeah.
of beef, like this is like Pusha T and Drake.
Yeah,
but
boy.
that was crazy.
Oh, y'all like there was I guess an interview recently of Stormy Daniels' lawyer, and he was just basically like, have you noticed that he doesn't call me out directly on Twitter? It's because I would destroy him. I mean, I'm with the guy, but he was talking big game, just like he was like, if he ever called me out on Twitter, he knows I would destroy him. That's why he never picks on me.
Wu-Tang, Yin Yang Twins in this.
did you guys hear that it became illegal for him to actually block people on Twitter?
Yes.
Because
Isn't there a court case about that?
Yeah, there was a
because,
Supreme Court case about it.
essentially he uses that as a way to deliver information to the public. So by blocking people, it has become a violation of the
U.S. Constitution. whatever.
of the first. Is it the First Amendment or the?
Free speech?
Yeah, basically
First
just-
Amendment, yeah.
Yeah, so it became a violation of free speech.
That's amazing.
They use the First Amendment to make sure that he does get seen instead of silencing someone. Is that what you're saying?
Just think about it for a minute.
Because
the
essentially
president-
would be the government as
The president blocking somebody on Twitter is being blocked by the Supreme Court of the United States.
Well, because it's
fuck
silencing the free speech of the people.
Right. So essentially, because usually freedom of speech is used to silence people in certain stances and stuff like that, or used to allow people to continue to speak and stuff like that. But in this instance, a person was trying to silence himself to other people, and he's being forced to speak
Where the fuck
because
am
of
I?
that.
Like, what
And I've never heard of the law being used in that sense. If that makes sense,
I mean, but
does that make sense?
It's just weird because it makes sense what you're saying.
Play
Yeah.
like a technicality. Where
So how does blocking on Twitter actually work?
So
Like,
when you can't see anything,
Yeah, you
anything
just- you
related.
can't
or
see the
nothing.
like if you
tweets.
go to them, it'll say you have been blocked by
This-
real
Okay.
Donald Trump.
So I mean, like the only way that you can find out what Donald Trump said on Twitter is by reading a news article about
I
it.
really
Wow.
think that the next
Or
president.
make a new account.
This is kind of unfair, but I really think with the next presidency, what they should do is like, hey, if you have a personal Twitter, don't use that. Use the POTUS actual
Well, see,
Twitter.
that's the thing is that they told him that, and he said, "Fuck you."
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
I'm going to
So,
use mine.
Like they tried taking his phone away, but he said, "Fuck you."
Yeah. Also, there was actually they were actually confiscating phones from inside the White House because they were.
Oh, then they were also using like phone spying tech over there.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. They were afraid of people leaking. They were afraid of people like getting like leaking out information about stuff. And like apparently, what they do is they go around and like they have like this little piece of hardware that will detect you have a phone on you, and then they'll give you a fine and then take your phone away and put it back in your locker. So in between breaks, people have to go back to a locker to check their phones. And you're given a government phone, so they know everything that's going on with it. So it's like if you leak something, it's like, oh yeah, here, there's your job.
Oh my God.
So yeah, apparently they were doing that. So I think this is crazy, but also it's kind of a good time as well because all these awesome games that are coming out.
yeah.
So yeah, I was surprised honestly. Like of course we had Smash Bros earlier this year. I know this is a complete
Well, yeah.
crazy
So yeah,
segue.
Smash Bros got announced.
Yeah,
and
and
then
then-
we had, I guess, 5 new Pokemon games
Well,
sort of
like
get announced.
Nintendo's E3 lineup has basically been leaked already.
Yeah, which
Really, I hadn't
Also,
seen-
PS4s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Wow.
well, the thing is like Nintendo's was leaked and people didn't believe it, and then they announced Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu and
Pikachu
Eevee,
and
which was
Eevee,
on
yeah.
that leak.
Yeah,
and so
and
now
Quest-
people are
and
like,
Quest.
okay, I guess this is real.
Yeah.
Which that one is like the only things I really remember from it. I don't really recognize anything else.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
But they're talking about Super Smash Bros. They're talking about new Metroid Prime, and they're talking about
That's actually confirmed,
Fortnite coming to Switch.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because South Korean, their ESRB actually just went through and underneath a Switch, I guess, kind of rating board, has Fortnite listed on there, and they've already given Fortnite a rating on their
Yeah, yeah.
rating platform. So
See, this is why it's important to hide your shit because leaks happen. But I guess
Leaks-
it's good for us.
no, leaks are good. It's good publicity. Good publicity, man.
Remember last year when a fucking image leaked of Mario and Rabbids and everybody went crazy about
Yeah.
like how shit that was?
The game's actually cool.
That
And
game
the
is fun.
Yeah.
The game is like
Awesome.
awesome, yeah.
I remember.
I need to finish that.
And then we had the Fallout 76.
Yeah, that one
that's-
actually looks really good. Fallout 76, if you guys don't already know, I'm a huge Fallout fan.
So when are we getting Fallout 77?
So
Well,
it's not
77
happening.
was one guy in a box.
yeah,
so
no,
when
one
are
guy
we
in a
getting-
master, he had a box of puppets.
Yeah,
box
so
of puppets,
so
that's
that's the
right.
game I want to play though.
Dude, he,
Master
he
Gang.
didn't,
So
he didn't live
he-
for 200 years. You realize that, right?
He was in he was in Fallout 3.
No,
So
see,
in
the
Fallout-
setting of the game is in the vault as he's slowly descending into madness with the puppets.
That's a great horror. Hey, you guys hear that, Bethesda? Make the DLC.
Make the DLC.
Sign the contract.
Sign the contract.
Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 both reference Fallout 76. And this is a complete lead up. Fallout 76 takes place 20 years after the bombs originally dropped. This will take place before the first Fallout game, even the very first one. And this was originally supposed to be one of the control vaults where basically they didn't do any experiments on the people. They didn't put out nerve toxins.
They didn't
just leave a
steal
box of-
babies.
None of that shit, dude. No cryo chambers.
No cloning.
And so what people are thinking, it's going to be a lot more rugged wastelands. It's going to make more sense to be looting stuff. Why there would be, ammunition in these drawers. People haven't looted these areas yet, kind of shit like that. And also, it's probably going to be more base building because a lot of these major cities, like Diamond City in Fallout 4, or like Atom City, or City of the Atom, something like that in Fallout 3, the
Yeah,
one that's got
yeah,
an
yeah,
atom
yeah,
bomb in
yeah.
it.
Church of the Atom?
Yeah, Church of the Atom. The one that has
Megaton.
Megaton, yes.
Yeah.
It's Megaton City.
Who,
These cities
who
all-
blew up Megaton?
I did.
Show
I
of
did-
hands.
I did three.
I
I did
didn't.
3 playthroughs. I did one blowing up, one didn't blow up, and
I played 3 so
one I
long
never
ago,
went to
but-
Megaton.
I blew it up immediately.
I did not, but I will say that it'll be interesting to see how this goes because Here's one of the things that I'm curious about is that the radiation effects and shit like that are different than what the FEV virus does, because there's basically 2 timelines that are taking place. You have the ghouls that are affected by the radiation, and then you have the super mutants and death claws and shit like that are affected by the FEV virus, which is the forced evolution virus.
Right.
And it's kind of.
So are we gonna get like proto super mutants and stuff like
and
that?
proto like death claws. It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out, how fast that they evolve within 20 years time span of the bombs dropping. But I think it's kind of cool, and they're also kind of following a similar strategy as they did from Fallout 3 to New Vegas, where it's going to be a different. It's still Bethesda, but it's technically a different development studio that's doing 76.
Yeah, it's Battlecry Studio, which actually just became, I guess, Bethesda Studio Austin.
Right, and that's one of their newest locations, too. It
So
just
here in
opened last
Texas.
year.
Woo.
And they're basically going to be borrowing the assets from Fallout 4, so I'm excited for it, for sure.
Yeah,
that's
definitely,
cool.
definitely.
So I'm really excited about that. And there was another game that came out or was announced, and I was really excited for it, or kind of excited for it. I know Mega Man 11 came out, but I'm not really. Or
Wait, did it come out? Or
it got announced, but I'm not really.
Well, okay.
super excited
I guess
for
the
it.
other thing was the Bloodstain game. Not the actual game, but the one that they promised with the Kickstarter that was closer to Dracula 3. Or is it Curse of Dracula? I think
It's Curse of Dracula.
Yeah. So that just came out, and that's really freaking cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
we got a lot of topics.
Real quick, last thing, Rocket League Season 8 just started with the new Sandy Springs, or Sandy Shores update, and then also they are about to do cross-platform partying. So everybody who has it on Xbox, PC, Switch, PS4, we're all going to be able to play together finally, and it's looking really freaking cool. So hop back on Rocket League. Let's all play together.
All right.
Even quicker, I see you still have the battle plan.
Oh, the zip zap board.
So,
Jump on that
so
zip
go
zap.
jump on our zip zap.
Yeah,
game
okay,
that we
yeah,
made,
yeah.
and
It's on itch.io.
Itch.io, search zip zap by Flipbit.
didn't
Okay,
we get
anyway.
top 25?
Top 25%.
Top 25% of Ludum Dare 41.
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
so pat on the back for all 5 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go Scott.
Anyway, Scott, what's your topic for tonight?
All right, cool,
All right.
Scott. Thanks, man. What's up?
So yeah, I went to Europe recently.
You did?
Yeah, and while I was there,
I thought you were on the shitter.
I was just on the shitter for about 10 days.
I saw that bidet in the picture. I was just like, fuck, man.
So yeah, while I was there, I went and had a bunch of different beers, or beers and alcohol and stuff like that. So I figured this would be the perfect platform to actually talk about that.
Yeah.
This would be a good platform to talk about that.
So I guess I'll start with I'll just go in chronological order. I started off in Madrid, where
All by your lonesome.
yeah, all by my lonesome. I went and did a tapas tour, and what's kind of cool about Madrid is the
Everything's legal there.
the the emperor made it a law that
The
if you
emperor.
order, or I don't know,
No, it is the
king
emperor.
or- it is okay.
It
Emperor.
is.
What?
Sounds like a
He-
king.
No,
He
I don't
made
know.
it. I don't know, king or emperor, whatever. I saw the palace. It was pretty
The
cool.
mayor?
If it's a palace, that's an
The
emperor.
ruler
The
of
patriarch of Madrid.
Exactly. Made it a law that if you order a drink at any place, they have to serve food with that drink for free. So basically, you can just
That's
go
like
out.
that's like Texas before noon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go out and get drinks, and they will just bring like all sorts of stuff. So I went to 3 different places. The first place I got a white wine spritzer, which is just white wine with Sprite, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, the Haddly Doodlies.
And they had their own
Yeah, trying.
they had their own term for it, but I don't remember it. But anyways, they gave me like a ham and cheese fried thing, a omelet, and
Wait, what time was this?
this is like, I don't know, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Ass backwards country. I'm not going. Omelet in the
We
afternoon.
call that pre-evening here.
Good evening. Nice.
So yeah, that was good. And then the next place I went was kind of like what we'd call like a deli or something like that.
Delicatessen.
But like it's a place that
Delicatessen.
people kind of go after work and get like sandwiches and stuff like that. But I got sangria there, and I got like ham and chorizo and salami and Havarti cheese and like a white cheddar cheese and like all sorts
So
of
since
really
they're
good
like
stuff.
required by law to serve food with your alcohol, is the alcohol more expensive?
No, I'd say it's actually probably cheaper. But you have to keep
Let's
in
move to
mind
Madrid.
Yeah, Madrid was
Hey, man,
awesome.
I'm down.
Man.
I got a
I
minor
loved
in
it.
Spanish.
So yeah, like I got that there, and the the thing is like most people when they go out, they don't order water because water's not free. They order a wine or something like that. So like everyone I saw was just like
Necesito cerveza.
It's like here where every restaurant has a deck. They're like every restaurant has seating outside, and people just sit out there, drinking drink after drink, just eating their tapas.
That's awesome.
Man, that's cool.
And then the third place I went to, I had I had Spanish wine, and I got to drink that out of a ghost bladder, which was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Which
A ghost bladder? How do they extract that?
Goat bladder.
Oh.
It's like that little bladder shaped thing.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah.
It's like that little bladder shaped thing you see in
got slime.
cowboy movies where they hold like the water and stuff like that.
It was a spooky ghost.
So yeah, you start close to your mouth and you squeeze the bladder and you get further and further away, and then you go back in and you're trying to hit your mouth the whole time.
So like a big old giant tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, pretty
You're
much.
trying to slime yourself, man.
So do you roll up the goat intestine?
No, you just squeeze it.
God damn it.
So yeah, I had that with this. It's like this. It was like this bread that had kind of like this tomato sauce on it, and then they topped that with ingredients, and then also like
This all sounds so good.
Yeah, it's all really
Why haven't I
good.
gone to Europe yet?
And then it was a rice that they make with the leftover seafood parts. So like if they cut the back part off of a shrimp, they'll toss that into a thing that they then make this rice dish with, for example.
Nice.
So then I went to London, where
Did you see asbestos?
where I had no, I didn't.
You sure he was there? I talked to him yesterday. He said he saw you. I guess you didn't see him.
Where I went to 2017's top cocktail bar in the world. And that was really cool because I got to have basically tea time at the Dandelion is what they called it, where I got a entire pot of tea to myself, 4 cocktails, 4 little sandwich things, and then like 6 dessert
Now,
things.
is this still all before you met up with Haley?
No, this was with Haley
Okay.
at this point.
Yeah, he couldn't even get over to that to the whatever it is airport.
Yeah.
You were drinking all that much, man.
Yeah, so I had 4 different cocktails, and they were all so good. Like, the first one was called Fluff and Fold Royal, which was like lime, basil, like kind of like this, kind of like a tea liqueur. It's kind of hard to describe. I don't know. Orange bitters, and then Prosecco. Prosecco. There we go. But yeah, it was like I sent you guys actually the picture of it. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was like green and it had like a little marshmallow on it.
Ooh.
So how were you were you able to function okay, or did you just drink a lot and not be able to walk around?
What was cool is these, I would say, are more. All of them that I had were like artisan cocktails.
So more flavorful.
They're
Alcohol
flavorful.
Flavor over
So you
alcohol.
want to enjoy them more.
Yeah, you enjoy them, and it's like there might be. I
It's
mean,
not
I would
it's
say
not the basic bitch shots of American.
Yeah.
right. So I would say they would. By the time they're done mixing it, they might be at 15%, but there's so much flavor you're not going to even really taste
See,
the
I
alcohol.
appreciate that because over here, it's
And it's a 2-hour thing. Like you spend 2 hours there.
So I appreciate that. It's
snacking and drinking.
here.
different
It's
stuff.
hey man, here's your buttery nipple or something.
Yeah.
I know that's like a dive bar or
You
something.
might-
No. But you're completely right, though. One
Yeah,
thing that you
it's
got to
like-
think about is that they quite literally have to feed you food, so you're not going to be drunk as quickly. Because the
Yeah.
thing is that your stomach is always full with something to help absorb the alcohol, which I'm guessing is probably a pretty smart move as a preventative measure to keep from public intoxication kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Spain's
it's
a little bit
also-
more progressive whenever it comes to that kind of stuff.
Spain is more progressive, but London, it's like the bars were closing at 11. So,
Yeah, and I think that's actually, don't quote me on this, but I think that's a little bit newer of a law. They've been restricting a little bit
It's
more
due to
on a
knife
lot of
fights.
things.
It's due to all the knife fights people have.
yeah.
No,
But yeah, I guess I kind of want to finish
not
all
annoying.
these. So the next one I had was kind of like, imagine cucumber water that had like vodka in it. It was pretty
Ooh.
good.
What the hell?
that sounds.
It was
good.
like one
Explain
of those
that.
things where you have it in your mouth and you can like taste all the cucumber and then you
Cucumber,
swallow it and it's just like
soda is good.
Vodka burn.
Cool.
no, there's like no burn at all. It was just
Wow.
like
Just drunk.
clean after that.
Cucumber's so refreshing.
Let's give that a try. Let's make some I
have all their things.
Cucumber water, cucumber gin. That'd be good.
I'm actually down. If you want to pop up with that cucumber water,
that would be good.
I have all their things
with these super hot Texas summers, along with the national bird of Sanger out here, the wasp. It'll be nice to have some cucumber infused.
Well, it uses I think it had a cucumber garnish in it, but it had cream of melon, basically liqueur.
Huh.
What kind of melon?
But anyways, I don't know. There was a spotless peach, which was kind of like their martini.
Yeah.
It just tastes like a peach. That was probably the bougiest of them all.
Bougiest.
And then the final one was a tiki drink. So it was kind of like a pineapple drink.
Yeah.
Which was really freaking good.
Tropical.
Yeah.
Scott, I hate to,
But I'm not even done yet.
I know, just I guess if you can give us the short version of the rest of it.
I had Guinness on tap. I had a bunch of cider on tap. There's a great story where these dads who were on vacation from Yorkshire, they came to London just to hang out. They saw us outside of the Harry Potter musical. And then they're like, "Oh, you guys are getting married? Come on, let's go get a pint." And so they just took us to go get a pint.
Wow.
Nice.
The other thing I'll say is all their bars just have weird names. Like we went to the Porcupine to get that pint, and then where Haley and I went after every night to get a pint of cider was called the Spit and Sawdust. But other places I saw was the Dog Drink or I don't know, just insert animal here. That's all their bars are named.
They do that in Ireland too. Whenever I was a kid over in Ireland, it was the Dirty Nellies bar that we went to, and it sounds gross, but I mean, it's just the stylings that they go by.
But yeah, the Guinness on tap was really good.
That's actually
everything was cold. I don't know why people say that it's hot. It's not room.
It's warmer than it is in America, but it's still cold.
We drink some pretty warm beers here in Texas, which kind of helps to our
probably.
Your cooler I would get it in the glasses. The glasses would get what do you call it?
They frost the glasses.
I mean, so proper serving temperature for beer really is probably between 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Mm-hmm. Most of our fridges are set below that. Mm-hmm. I keep my kegs at 41. But that's probably they probably keep it on the higher side, over there in Europe, because that's just probably what they do. But I mean, it's still cold. It's just just a little bit warmer than it is here.
I guess I just don't go out to bars to get beer, so I just don't know.
It's based on an old thing because back in the day you used to have to bury your bottles to keep them cool throughout the year.
Refrigeration was hard to come by, a while back, and they obviously don't really have much air conditioning over there in Europe anyway, just because they don't need it.
Yeah, Europe and so
my
England,
damn
Ireland
boss from San Francisco is asking me if I've got air conditioning here in Texas. When I was telling him this week that we had a day forecast of 105.
Fuck yeah! What the fuck you think we are?
Well, in Chicago and San Francisco, you don't have that. So that's one thing I will tell you.
He lives in San Francisco.
In London, it was open up the window if you were too hot.
Yeah, that's how it is in Chicago too. But what I was going to say is that story comes from the fact that you bury your bottles underground, and the ground temperature stays roughly about the same because it's a rockier kind of soil, and most of the temperature actually comes from the constant temperature of the Atlantic, which keeps the actual overall islands relatively the same temperature whenever you start digging down.
Long story short, that's how they also brewed Oktoberfest, is burying them in caves.
Nice.
Anyway, so we gotta keep things moving.
But anyways, I guess just to top it off, Guinness was good. Everything was cold. I would definitely suggest going over there and just drinking because it's cheaper than buying water. So
right. Yep. So how are we doing? Are we ready for number 3, or we still drinking?
Dude,
I think
I've got a little bit left.
Okay, all right.
I can take number 3.
Okay, well, we'll get that going here in a minute. Joseph, what do you got for us today?
So I wanted to kind of bring it back to pop culture a little bit and talk about the Avengers.
Ooh.
So at this point, if you guys haven't seen
Avengers,
anybody who's listening or whatever, if you're listening in the future, if you haven't seen Avengers yet,
just skip about 10 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes.
Just just fast forward until you stop hearing spoilers.
So spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Actually, go ahead.
So
you start.
So on my
first of all, what are the Avengers?
So
no. We don't got enough time.
Okay. Who are the Avengers?
They fight Barney. No, just kidding.
Bernie, like Bernie Sanders or Bernie Mac?
Bernie Sanders.
They fight dead Bernie Mac.
So anyway,
do you think Bernie Sanders is a little bit like Thanos? Everything perfectly.
No,
balanced?
he is. No, he is. Thanos is Guy
The
Fieri.
political topic was Bobby's.
Bobby's. It's mine. It's Joseph's.
No, I said the political topic was Bobby's.
You're right.
So, like, on my first watch through, I was like, this is really good. I really enjoyed it. And then on the second watch through, I was like, there's some things that are wrong with this movie.
Yes, right? Really?
Okay, I've only seen it once, so I haven't had the second.
Yeah, I haven't either.
First time I watched it, just go. I'm gonna.
Okay, so one of the things that I recognized on the second part was the part where, like, they're in, like, Wakanda and shit. I'm like,
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda has a whole fucking air force, and they didn't utilize it all.
That's a good point.
They did not utilize it at all, and it would have helped.
that too.
Like,
I absolutely noticed. I was like, so what happened?
right. And the other thing, I don't know.
Joseph
I have
hasn't gotten any yet.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet.
okay.
But I'm still drinking my last one. The other thing, I have
that's
like
for Joseph.
I have like a vague theory about Doctor Strange, the way that.
No,
I don't
same.
know.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Same.
what's your
Go.
what's your-
Okay, so I feel like
Keep it
you know,
vague.
he watched those million whatever
Yeah.
scenarios, and I was like, maybe the one that he saw, that one he knew like
Yeah,
what he had to do,
that's
and like
the one. Yeah.
it was very vague because
That's
it's like
exactly what he did.
Oh, no, I felt like like the last thing he said before he dissipated
Was like this. It had.
It was like it had to be this way. I was like, okay, so this is the way that they still win,
Right. So I guess the thing is he had to give the time gym to him of his own free will. Was
Right.
basically the only way he saw them winning.
But,
Yeah.
But
okay.
but
Here's where it gets kind of tricky with that, right? So, at the end, did you guys recognize the insignia at the end?
Yeah, that's
that's Captain America's insignia.
no Captain
Captain-
Captain Marvel. Yeah.
hold up. What insignia?
The insignia at the end where
there's
There's a
the end
beeper.
scene,
at
the end scene.
where Samuel Jackson calls.
He's got an old ass beeper.
Yeah, he calls someone on a beeper.
Did you not
It's-
stay for after the
I
credits?
did.
Okay.
But I missed that part.
There's an insignia at the end, and it's Captain Marvel, right?
Okay.
Captain
Did you
Marvel,
say
yeah.
the
Well,
part
see, like
for Nick Fury?
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't know who the fuck Captain Marvel
Captain
is.
Marvel
I'm
is-
not that deep in the Marvel universe.
Captain Marvel is pretty much like, I guess, the Superman of.
I think it was supposed
I'm
to be.
I'm
dude.
still all about that big
It's a
old
girl.
It's a girl in this one, and that's kind of throwing a lot of
It's
people
always
off.
been a girl.
Captain Marvel's always been. It's always been.
I thought it
always
was
been
a
a girl.
guy.
No.
No.
I had no idea.
I
Okay,
was
never
thinking
mind.
Shazam. People get that confused all the time. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
Shazam, which is also called Captain Marvel.
Super
Yeah.
off topic.
That's
Really fucking
DC
annoying.
universe.
Yeah, it's DC universe.
Super
Yeah,
off topic.
That's why.
When are y'all seeing Solo?
I already saw it.
Not yet.
I haven't
did?
seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
Sometime
you and I got to talk after this.
Oh, shit.
Y'all got to go see Solo.
Don't go see Solo.
Okay, sorry.
continue.
Back to the conversation.
what other things? I thought like the whole Vision thing was weird. Like
Yeah.
I didn't.
But
So,
okay,
he's
so-
being a punk ass bitch.
Yeah, so like I haven't
Yeah.
seen Age of Ultron, but like
he was a
You
badass in
haven't
Age
seen
of Ultron.
Age of Ultron?
no, not yet. Okay,
It
all right.
sets up all.
Well, obviously, yeah. I'm a little bit behind from the Marvel
Well,
movies.
I mean-
I've got them on my list now. But even like we passively watched Civil War.
Can't make
Karen and
any
I.
judgments
Fuck
if
Civil
you haven't
War.
even.
Oh, yeah, okay, but we passively watched Civil War. You know,
Dude, I'll give you my
we got the
Plex
ball over here.
login. You can go through, and I'll let you watch it. Okay.
Oh, you were saying it was good. Okay, never mind. I thought you were asking for the bottle. My bad. Anyway, fuck it. So Civil War. I remember seeing a red dude like whooping ass in that movie.
That's Vision.
Yeah.
Well,
so
see, okay,
yeah.
they-
So, but like then we go see Infinity War, and
he's a punk-ass bitch.
Yeah, he's
Well,
like,
no,
like
okay,
I'm
look-
very important, but I can't do any fighting.
No, okay, they had to depower him because if he was at full power, he could have just wiped the floor with
Well,
Thanos.
see, that's the problem with a lot of these superhero movies. It's just like, oh, this superhero is OP, like in this
Well,
instance.
that's the whole-
But if he's the same in this instance, then it just makes the story like redundant.
and
That's
there's-
why what's his name? Who's the famous Stan Lee? He's like people ask him like who wins in this person versus this person. It's like, well, if it's a
What's
Spider-Man
universe?
comic,
Yeah,
then
Spider-Man
Spider-Man wins.
Yeah.
If it's a Venom comic, then Venom wins.
That's
It's like,
the thing too. Like there's different universes or different comics. Like Spider-Man actually beats Thanos. Squirrel Girl fucking
yeah,
beats-
Squirrel Girl can like rewrite reality.
Like,
if she
okay, like
wanted to.
I can kind of understand that. Comic
this-
books, like kind of like span the multiverse kind of thing. But the thing is, like, Age of Ultron and Civil War are in the same universe as Infinity War.
But like this was,
But all of a sudden he starts acting like a
this
punk.
was a Thanos movie, though.
Yeah.
This
So?
wasn't an Avengers movie.
At the end, yeah, it did say Thanos will return.
Yeah.
This is a Thanos
It's a
movie,
Thanos movie.
and so because it's a Thanos movie, of course,
Okay.
Robot dude gets beaten
Vision,
the shit.
yeah.
Yeah, Vision
Vision,
gets
yeah.
the shit kicked out of him at the beginning.
That's dumb.
Well, no, it's not dumb because it's a lead
man.
up. No, it's a lead up to. So
I don't like
Thanos
it.
actually, or not Thanos. Vision actually loses his stone in the comics, and he actually becomes a black and white version of Thanos. What's his name? Scott?
Yeah, black and white version of Vision. I don't.
Or Vision, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
This is why
I don't
Star
think he
Wars is
changes
better
his
than
name,
Marvel.
But yeah, he loses his stone and basically like sort of loses most of his personality. So yeah,
It's a lead up to show how
Yeah.
he actually becomes a different kind of superhero, and there's
Yeah.
a chance that he probably won't get the stone back.
And see that was the theory. The sister, T'Challa's sister, was actually sort of partly backing him up while trying to remove the stone from him.
Right.
So the theory is now that his body is back, because it originally got destroyed and then they turned back time. Yeah. So now that his body's back, they're thinking they're going to be able to sort of fix him, but then turn him into the black and white version, just like.
But
Zack.
here's another thing too. Okay, so
Sorry, I keep stuck on my
Captain
toes.
Marvel is gonna apparently be in the next Infinity War movie, right? Where
Yeah.
they all kick Thanos' ass. People are talking about time travel, but it's like you can't. Can you still do that with the time stone? being
We'll
gone?
see.
You
I
can,
don't
but
know.
it's limited in regards to like you can. It's kind of like Prince of Persia, where you can only rewind a certain bit. I feel
So-
We'll
like.
see, but Captain Marvel's like one of the characters who even like goes out to space. So the theory is she might be like on a different planet right now. And when the beeper thing went off, it's like, oh, come back to Earth.
Yeah. Hey, what happened to Pepper Potts? Did she die?
Well,
I don't
we
know.
don't know.
It's ambiguous.
It's fucking awesome.
It doesn't matter.
know.
She's so basic, bro.
Did anybody else really like one thing that I liked a lot was the interactions between Captain America and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
great.
I was like, they're
Captain
like the
America?
same personality, but
The
not.
banter?
Yeah.
You wait, are you talking about Iron Man?
Iron Man. Who did I say?
said
Captain America. I was like,
Sorry, no,
I was
yeah.
like sitting. I was like, what the fuck
Iron
did they
Man.
speak?
Yeah.
No,
Basically,
Iron
two
Man.
hot shots and narcissists that basically meet each other.
I did.
Yeah.
I did like
Yeah,
those
I
scenes.
did
They were
like
nice.
that.
Yeah.
One thing that I kind of took away from the movie was a lot of people were upset with the whole Black Panther thing, because Black Panther just came out and then it was
Yeah.
Infinity War, and then spoiler alert, Infinity War, Black Panther's like, hey, you can't die, it's not something, just fucking disappears.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well, that
Holy
and like
shit.
no,
Wait,
Don't tell me
wait.
about Black Panther because I haven't seen Black Panther.
What do
It's
you mean?
kinda badass.
Wait, what are you talking about? Who
Black
can't
Panther is
die?
really good movie.
people were pissed off because Black Panther just came out.
Oh, well,
And
he's
then-
going to come back. I
well,
don't
yeah.
know.
So like
Yeah.
that's see, this is my thing. Like with the
But
whole like
people were
half
mad
the
about it.
superheroes like
Yeah,
die.
they're gonna be back.
They're gonna be back. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like this ain't Game of Thrones.
Do you think that Deadpool's going to be in Infinity
No,
War?
it's not. It's already been shown not because what happened was that to kind of confirm.
Hold up. Are you
that-
about to do Deadpool 2 spoilers?
No, it's a slightly different. So at the end of Deadpool 2
No.
and everything,
Stop.
it's not a
Stop.
spoiler.
Don't even.
After
No,
everything is
stop.
done.
Just go back to Infinity War. I don't want to hear
This is
nothing.
about time frame for Ryan Reynolds. This isn't about Infinity War. There was a letter that Ryan Reynolds said to, hey, am I going to be part of the Avengers team, please? And Tony Stark's Twitter basically posted back saying, we regret to inform you that you've not been you've not been inducted into the Avengers. We feel that you'd be a detriment to the team, blah, 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 blah. You're fucking crazy. Enjoy doing your own thing. Love Tony Stark kind of
And
deal.
So
think
that's
it was-
almost a guarantee that they're
Yeah,
bringing him into
pretty
Infinity War
much.
2.
I'm also,
No.
I'm pretty
I
surprised.
don't think so
No, I
because
think
the problem is
we don't
that
have any movies like slated past Infinity War, so really it's kind of
No, we
like
Is it
do.
Ant-Man?
Ant-Man and
no,
Wasp.
that's
Oh, yeah, Ant-Man
before.
and Wasp.
No, I'm sorry, Infinity War 2. Sorry.
yeah.
So we have Ant-Man and Wasp, and we have
Captain
You
Marvel.
know how that movie's
Captain
gonna fucking
Marvel,
end.
and then we have Infinity War 2. But
And we also have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 actually.
well, okay, it's
Really?
been said, but it's not slated. Like they don't have an official
still part of
spot
phase.
for it. No, it's
it's
not.
still part of this phase.
It's
Yes,
not.
it is.
It's not a part of the phase.
No fucking way. It is. It's totally
Hey.
part of the phase.
Either way,
Hey.
I'll put money that Deadpool appears in
Well,
Infinity
but
War
see,
2.
the thing was, Comcast
As like a cameo
but
after the
see-
fight.
But see, Comcast made
They'll still be there.
Comcast beat
Comcast?
Comcast beat Disney's bid for Fox Studios.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you hear about that? So
It's
it may
fucked
not
up, by the
be
way.
it may not be merging. So
I don't know if you guys realize that, but that's actually really
So
fucked up.
Comcast might own Deadpool soon.
Hey, but also another thing too is
Bye, Deadpool.
so you guys know how it's another spoiler. You guys already know how Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to end. It's going to end with like, yeah, we did it because they weren't around during the time of
Yeah.
Fate of Infinity War. So it's going to be like, hey, I love you, and she's just going to disappear.
I actually
no.
think it's going to go the other way. I think
Yeah,
Sandman
I
is
was
gonna
kind of
disappear.
wondering. I was wondering about
All right,
that.
well, she's like,
Because-
hey, I love you.
because
He's like,
the
cool.
Wasp-
Peace. Just,
in the
She's not-
comics,
yeah.
the Wasp was actually like an integral part of the
Y'all
Avengers.
seen,
yeah.
y'all seen that like
So-
album of images? There's like the like I guess there's like
Saber
like the black
singer.
like black people Twitter like going through the different characters of like
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Are you talking about whenever he goes inside of Thanos' ass and explodes and like makes him?
No, it was some dude making a bunch of Instagram
what
posts.
the fuck, internet?
So there's a theory. It's a stupid ass theory, and it's not gonna happen. But they're like, yeah, Ant-Man should just go into Thanos' ass and then enlarge himself like he did in Civil War and just
Busting
explode
cheeks.
him.
Busting
Gigantic man.
Yeah, because then you can defeat him because you're inside of him. So.
Anyway, on a less like disturbing note,
Damn.
no, it was like fuck, I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about
That's
Thanos'
pretty shocking.
Thanos is
The internet's
ass cheeks being blown
the internet's fucking stupid.
God
dude.
damn it, I have no idea what I was saying.
busting cheeks.
No,
Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about Ant-Man.
Theory.
Ant-Man. Oh yeah, no,
watched
I was like,
that.
yeah, he was like some guy was like making a bunch of like Instagram posts, like going through. He was like, why'd they kill this guy? Why'd they kill this guy? Yeah, like he was talking about like why'd they kill Spider-Man? They should have killed off Ant-Man. Like nobody would have missed him.
No,
Dude,
what
Ant-Man's
sucks?
more powerful than Spider-Man, in my opinion.
What sucks?
The dude can enter
I
the
mean-
quantum realm, which is kind of a theory that like you could possibly enter the quantum realm
okay,
and
so, like-
enter the stone.
So
True.
that's probably a good point, but I think people have more of a connection with Spider-Man.
True.
than
He's one of my
with Ant-Man.
favorite.
Yeah.
For
exactly.
sure, yeah.
Well, see, like before we had any superhero movies, like the few characters that people knew were like Hulk, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
Wonder Woman. Like
Right,
those were
yeah.
like the five. If you said like what's a comic book character, those were the five. That
Yeah,
people
so you know,
actually knew.
people connected with Spider-Man when it was Tobey Maguire, and then the recent reboot with like Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like he did a really good job.
Really
with
good
That's
job.
Spider-Man.
rated
And
one
he's
of the
also-
highest
He's not
rated
going to be in
ones.
the next Spider-Man movie, which is really disappointing. I already got a new one.
Dude,
What? Is,
Wait,
it,
what?
is it Donald Glover?
No,
I hope it's Donald Glover.
there's another actor that's coming out. I've seen it floating around.
Wait, why is he not getting
I don't
to
know.
be?
I don't know.
They gotta quit
Well, no,
switching
'cause
people up, dude.
They already
Yeah.
announced the second Homecoming movie with him in it, though.
Okay, maybe there was a spoof
but
post. and I
he's
don't
dead.
remember research.
There's
He's
the
dead.
new-
He
well, there's-
he told Tony
It's-
Stark, "I don't want to go."
Do you think that these movies that are coming out, like they're obviously before Infinity War, they're just buffer movies or just building up more money to like
Well, see-
generate like revenue for?
Dude, there's
Infinity War
a
2?
possibility
Maybe.
that there could be a different Spider-Man for what's it called, Venom?
for Venom.
That's true.
Because
That's
is
what I
Venom
was
being
saying.
produced
That's what I
by?
was saying, yeah.
Is Venom being
Venom
produced
would be
by
Sony.
Sony's,
Yes,
yeah,
it's
because
Sony, yeah.
Sony still shares the rights with Fox
It's
right
Tobey
now.
Maguire again. Like,
No, it's Sony. Sony owns the right to Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
Fox owns
he-
the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four.
No, Sony also owns the
No, they
rights
don't.
to.
No,
Did
they
they
don't.
sell them back off?
That's why
It's- so
X-Men wasn't in
Sony
Infinity War.
only owns Spider-Man universe stuff.
But that's the thing, though, is that Sony shared the rights back to Marvel for these movies.
Right. For these movies, yes.
But that's also the thing too, because have you seen Deadpool 2?
No.
yeah, but see, Deadpool is
don't even
Fox,
mention it.
Not Sony.
Fox is chill. Sony's not. Sony's like
Oh,
we don't
so
have
you
Sony
are right.
cross-platform.
So- No,
so
you're
Sony,
right. I
Sony
said-
and Marvel.
I
versus
concede.
Fox.
I concede. You're right. I remember the intro to the X-Men movies being like that and
Hey,
stuff.
do you think
so.
they're gonna? So real quick, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
So the original, what Thanos is about is the reason why he wants to kill all these people. Actually, in the movie, it's because he wants to save resources. But the original plot is, or one of the original plots is that he wants to appease like
Death.
Lady
Mistress
Lady
Death,
Death.
and he's like, "Oh, I love you," like, and then in the Deadpool comics, she's like always flirting with Deadpool.
well, yeah, and like
Because-
actually, there's a point where her and Deadpool get married.
yeah. So I thought that was yeah.
So they're trying to say that maybe Deadpool's wife becomes Lady Death.
No, it is Death. Like
Deadpool's wife is Lady
Yeah,
Death.
Deadpool can't die. He can't die. So like every time he dies, he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, I missed you." Like blah blah blah. Like you're about to like get back up soon, so I'll see you later. Basically, that's like their relationship. Basically. So and then Thanos is up here like, "Oh, babe, I love you," and she's like, like get out of here.
But Deadpool.
Yeah, but Deadpool. Yeah, honestly.
Anyway,
so
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
He quite
but
literally flirts with death.
yeah,
So,
all the
yeah.
time. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that's how he does it. So I thought that was cool. But I don't know. The next movie I don't know how it's gonna go. I would like to see all the heroes come back, but honestly, if Deadpool was in that, I think they'll just make it.
It's honestly too predictable, honestly, for all the heroes to come back.
I know, but it's
I'd like to see them commit to it and really like kill off a lot of their profit bearing branches.
We'll see. I mean,
Honestly,
I guess
yeah.
Chris. I don't know. There's been stuff where like Chris Evans said, "Oh yeah, this is the last movie I'm doing once
Chris Hemsworth?
No, Evans.
There's a lot
Captain
of Chris
America.
Captain America.
Yeah,
Really?
Captain America is like,
Hemsworth
once I'm
is
done with
Thor.
this,
Did
I'm
he
not-
die?
I think.
No, he did.
No.
So all the original Avengers did not die.
Okay.
But that was stupid. Honestly.
Well, no,
What are
because
what's the
then-
probability?
Well, because
Did Thor die?
No, all the originals.
Oh, okay.
didn't.
That's right. I'm sorry.
So then, because they didn't die, it's going to be the
Did
thing.
Black Widow die?
I think.
No,
No, yeah, she didn't.
See, I knew that one. I was
She
just-
needed to. Scarlett Johansson is
no,
atrocious.
motherfucker.
Did Vision die?
Too
His
soon.
body is still.
All right, yeah. So we got to keep it moving. Do you have any last words, Joseph?
Yeah, Hulk would beat the shit out of Thanos. Just
No,
for the
he's
record.
scared.
Well, he was so scared he didn't
he's
come out.
He too scared to come back.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Do you think they're going to bring in
See,
Red
that's
Hulk?
one thing I found bullshit. The trailer,
Fuck, I am so sorry.
that one hurt.
the trailer for Infinity War had the Hulk running in the running scene, but in this movie that didn't ever happen.
Yeah.
Huh.
Also, isn't it like real quick? Isn't it like I don't know if it's Red Hulk or something or Gray Hulk, but it's like one of the Hulks is like basically it's still Bruce Banner, but he's just really really strong, so he's still really really smart.
Yeah.
So he could use like combat and weapons and shit like that. So I wonder if they're not going to bring that back for Infinity War 2 because that'd just be stupid.
I mean, isn't that kind of what they did with like the Hulk?
Is that
suit?
basically like
Kinda.
half chub for him? Because right now there's a lot of like, erection
chub
euphemisms.
Yeah, it's just like he didn't come out in the movie because he was scared because he didn't know how to fight.
Yeah, but which
Yeah.
is kind of like.
Do you think that's why? Because he was scared? I don't know. I think
it was because he was scared.
I think it was because of Ragnarok. He was just like, I don't want to fight anymore.
I haven't seen Ragnarok yet, man.
You
so.
should. It's good.
I'm
It's okay.
I'm
Well, it was
going through
because
every
of
single
the
one of them.
beginning of the movie. He got
Yeah, he
completely
got
fucked
obliterated.
Yeah,
Not
God
obliterated,
damn it.
but-
Yeah.
Not
But-
Ragnarok.
not in
Not
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. Yeah, you're good.
I was about to be like, damn it.
No, go watch Ragnarok.
Beginning of Infinity War.
You see
where he
Hulk's
gets
dick.
Anyway.
effed up.
All right, so we got to move on.
Ziggity Zack.
Zach.
Super short. I don't have very much to say, but I went to Colorado last weekend. It was really cool. That's all I got. No, I'm just playing.
Where's that?
Colorado is in the United States on the western hemisphere of the world.
9-hour drive from here.
10-hour drive, yeah, actually. We went to
Shit.
Colorado Springs. My main thing that I wanted to talk about, one of the things that I didn't know about Colorado, we talk a lot of shit about Colorado here in Texas.
Do we?
Yeah, Coloradans and Texans have like a natural rivalry, kind of like I guess wasps and
do?
like whales.
Kind of do. It's like the difference between California and Austin, Texas.
Shit, I never
Yeah,
knew that. I thought
so-
they were friendly.
Well, the thing is that they run a lot of the same things that we do too. And the thing is that they say that Texas is the more conservative of the two. But I got over there,
Well,
and
yeah.
not only do you have absolutely not. You
Southern
are wrong.
Hold up,
Here's
dude.
the deal. Here's
Oh,
the deal.
which one of us has legal weed?
Huh?
Weed?
Which one of us has legal weed?
Well, they do right now, but we
Yeah.
will too. But here's the deal, though. Guess what you get to have over there? Open carry of rifles and other firearms.
Okay, there
I
you
walk
go.
into a liquor store and also liquor everywhere. This is the point why I bring it up here.
Honestly,
okay?
I call open carry liberal, but whatever.
What?
Well, I mean, it's being free with your weapon.
Holy shit, that's
a
the most ass backwards thing that I just realized. That's fucking
That was
crazy.
some mental gymnastics like no other right there,
I
Brad.
never
Thank
realized
you.
that. Thank you, Brad. I'm gonna go home and fucking cry.
Well, anyways, they have open carry over there. They've got legal weed over there. Blah 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 blah.
Fuck.
And I will tell you this right now: they are a huge in Colorado Springs. It is a huge military base over there because that's where Cheyenne Mountain is at. The Cheyenne Mountain
It's
complex.
actually a big Raytheon presence in Colorado.
Yeah, there's
Whoa.
we're going through and hiking and stuff like that, and there's fighter jets flying overhead and shit like that, doing some crazy ass acrobatics, and you're just like, wow, this is pretty crazy. And the other thing is too is that it is not, let me repeat, not recreationally legal in Colorado Springs and not in all of Colorado.
Nope.
You would be surprised because the thing is that a lot of Colorado is still conservative. So it's by the townships to decide if it's going to be legal or not. Where they are more liberal, though, is the fact that, yes, they do allow carrying of firearms into any establishment, including liquor stores, from what I could tell. And now, I haven't read up the laws, but the fact that I walked in there and a dude's buying a bottle of whiskey at like 9 in the morning on like Sunday, basically, kind of deal, with a gun on his hip, was pretty crazy. And I was like,
I wouldn't really call that liberal or conservative. That's like the libertarian state.
Well, the reason why was because, and this is the other thing too, is that like in the areas where we were staying at and stuff like that, there's a lot of bear warnings up because of bear attacks. And then there was a dude who got drug off with a mountain lion. Like,
do they have problems with drop bears up there?
Well, no, it's not even drop bears. It's
drop grizzly bears.
No, it's drop cats, dude. They have these mountain lions that just stalk you and then they hunt you and like carry you off into the woods.
Imagine like you walking back to your car and you look over in the bush and there's a fucking mountain lion there,
dude. And so we go to drop off Carla's textbook, okay, because she just finished up a class over at a FedEx, and we're talking to the FedEx guy. He's like, oh yeah, I was out there hiking, and I came across a deer carcass, and you could tell it had been clearly a mountain lion kill, and I was walking through kind of a clearing, so the mountain lion was stalking me, and he was so calm about it. I was like, damn, you must be really high or just used to this shit, dude.
It's Colorado.
That's why pot is legal there, because the thing is, and I was like, so do you carry a gun?
Chill.
I was like, he's like, well, I carry like a small 357 Magnum. I was like, what the fuck are you what?
The largest handgun known to man.
Small.
I like to blow people to Kingdom Come.
For our Texans for our listeners that don't know very much about guns, a 357 would blow a hole in a brick wall.
That would, if you shot that at a man, that man would be no more.
We're talking about a hippie who climbed through the mountains. This is an older dude too, working at a FedEx. He's like, "Yeah, man, I wish I was out there."
See,
but
man, it's libertarian because you're talking about a hippie carrying a 357.
Well, you know what, dude? Whatever. The point is, the point is that what was great about it was that I did not know that Colorado has one of the highest concentrations of breweries. Actually,
it does.
My real topic for the day is not about pot or about gun carrying and everything else like that. It's about the fact that right now there are more than 140 craft breweries, one of the highest concentrations in the smallest or one of the smaller states of the United States.
Yeah, Colorado's got a lot. They definitely got some of the good ones up there. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites being Left Hand.
Yes,
yeah. Left Hands. Nitro Milk Stout, man.
And one of the great things about it is that you find these breweries, because we started in Colorado Springs, but we actually camped out in the southwestern mountains of Colorado. These little tiny mountain towns, very similar to the song that you hear in South Park. It looked very much South Park-esque with the same kind of thing. And you would find these really rundown buildings, and you'd come across from time to time like these really nice breweries, like the breweries that we see here in Texas and stuff like that. And they were the nicest buildings in town, and they just have more lax laws in regards to that. I will say what's great about it is you have this higher concentration and you have this wider variety, and they just make their beers differently there. And I don't know what the reasoning is, but like, so every place that I did try a lagers were much more hoppier. They have more of a taste and a flavor for the hops than we do here. A lot of people like to have that, more, I guess, clean,
wheat. Sort of that
weedy. Yes,
biscuity.
Wheat is good.
Biscuits.
But up there, they literally like everything dank, whether it be the weed or the beer. And that's even for the light beers.
Well, they're also a really good manufacturer of stouts.
They are. And maybe that's because of the cold weather and other things like that, too. You can let it age a little bit as well there without too much power.
See, one thing I also forget about the United States sometimes is, like, when you really look at states like Texas, and you look at, say, places like, in Europe, but like you drive 6 hours to go somewhere, like that's like 3 countries over.
Yeah, it's like And
I forget that honestly, we should be countries, but we're just states.
It was 3/4 of that 10-hour drive because I made the drive there and back myself without Carla taking over.
Manifest Destiny.
And it was 3/4 of the way was Texas, man. And as soon as we got into the mountains too, the crazy thing is that it's a completely different environment, and this does actually affect your taste buds too in a way that you wouldn't expect. But you get up into the mountains, and we're about 400 feet above sea level here in Texas, in the low or North Texas. Up there, Colorado Springs is about 6,000 feet. Our base camp was about 10,000 feet. So we get up there, and I'm about to fall over, and my nose is bleeding constantly. I'm like dying of death.
Real talk. Like the one time that I went to Colorado with, I think it's my ex-girlfriend, like a long time ago when I was like middle school or high school. I went there and I got like altitude sickness.
Wow.
Like, it was
I got it
like,
seriously bad, dude.
Yeah, it was driving up there, and I was like, "Oh, God."
The thing that I remember blowing my mind, because like my family used to take trips to Colorado pretty often, is that like there was one time where we were like staying up in a cabin, so we went to like a store to like grocery shop. The Lunchables, like
they explode. Basically.
Yeah, the pockets of the Lunchables were like puffed up.
Wow.
That's what blew my mind.
That was all of our snacks that we had brought with us because we had bought them in Texas, and so when we got up there, a lot of them exploded on the
it's like,
drive up.
I guess the lower pressure up there, like
Yeah.
You can't breathe. You wake up in the middle of the night and like your heart's racing. But back to my main point about the beer, you taste super hoppy in Colorado Springs, 6,000 feet above sea level. Whenever I got up to the mountains, I brought up Colorado Lager. It was a pretty generic one. I'd have to look at the bottle again, but it's one of their usual drinks that you can find in like a Walmart and stuff there. Kind of like how you can find Shiner here.
Yeah.
I went up there and the hoppiness was basically gone. It tasted just like a lager down here because the flavor was just different. You couldn't taste as much because of the, I guess maybe the altitude.
I would like for us to take a trip to New England.
Yeah, why not?
Because that's where, like, the New England IPA is.
Let's
being done.
schedule it
Like
out.
Boston?
We'll have beers of the
Correct.
round table from
like
New England.
Philadelphia.
Dude,
Fuck
Vermont.
Philly, dude.
Philadelphia.
Hey, we can all move to Vermont.
Philadelphia
That's like the
is trash.
cybersecurity
Hot
capital
trash.
of the U.S.
Really?
Kind of. They got like the NSA and stuff up there.
Well, anyway,
But
I had to hurry you along.
well, no,
what you just
my
said-
last thing that I wanted to say was just that with all this brewery talk and craft brewery concentration, I came back to Texas, and one thing that I was not aware about was the grand opening weekend of Armadillo Ale, or is it Armadillo Ale Works?
Now, Armadillo Ale Works, and congratulations to them. I just realized today that they've been doing their opening process for 8 years.
8 years.
8 years since they started this company.
We wish them the best of luck, and we think that they're going to do really good, considering that it's going to be the first brewery in Denton to have been established before actually moving their brewing operations up here to Denton. But
Well, I mean, like the thing is like they started in Denton. Like basically, they started as like a brewery. I don't know like where they got to like brew first commercially, but they won gold medals in craft brewing competitions with their brunch money,
right?
Which is a golden stout. That was 8 years ago. And now they're finally being able, like they're UNT alum.
Yeah,
It's been a long time
UNT
coming.
business alum,
What
and
the
like
hell?
Yeah.
their dream was always to open their brewery here in Denton.
8 years in the making.
8 years, and so they're finally being able to do
Longer
it.
than that.
If I can do it,
So-
if they can do it, I can do it.
One of the things that's great about that is that we had one other brewery here in Denton since they started allowing breweries to be here, bringing this all back from Colorado back to the great state of Texas. The one thing that was always a problem is that the brewery that opened up here first, Audacity, rushed everything. They were unproven. When they first opened up, they didn't have hardly any of their taps ready in their tap room.
Right.
Yeah. The thing is that we're seeing a business in a brewery that waited, that was established, that was ready to open. Somebody that was mature, a business that was mature.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely took their time because they had a warehouse that they were trying to open in just off of 35, just south of Denton. They ended up not working out for them, but like for like a few years now, they've been co-oping out of Grapevine Brewery.
Yes. And they didn't cut corners, and I think that it's going to be great. We at Beers of the Round Table and Flip It will be there. Some of us will be there here this Sunday, and we'll be willing to report back, our next cast to see how it goes. But we here at the cast are extremely excited and are happy to welcome this new brewery, or not new, but really quite old and quite a big foundation and a part of the brewery movement that we're starting to see here in Denton.
Yeah, honestly, like definitely an underground part of Denton if you've been paying attention.
Super underground.
Yeah. So I mean,
If you're not
if you're
affected,
listening
you're not paying
tonight, I hope
attention.
you'll join us and trying to support Armadillo Ale Works this weekend. You might have actually been able to like find some of their stuff. I remember the first time I ever had Armadillo was actually from Midway Craft House.
Yes.
I picked up a bottle of Quakertown Stout, and I think actually Joseph, you were able to share that with me.
You shared it with me as well, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely.
That's all I got for the night, guys.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about some of the new breweries that are popping up all across the country. Doesn't matter where it's at.
Yeah,
the
but,
thing is that the beer movement is large and it is strong.
It's always close to us when it's in Denton.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And just one more thing about them. I think it's really cool. They've got a coffee shop inside
Built into
their brewery.
Where
I
are they
think
located?
That's
so it's
over by
good.
Boca 31.
Yeah, right off of Bell,
you
right
have
next door to Boca
You have
31.
a beer in one hand, you're getting sleepier, so then
And an espresso in the other hand.
and you're like, all right,
It's a
ready
good
to go.
move.
And then Taco Fusion next door.
You got your upper and your downer and your Mexican,
Perfect.
Yeah,
What
so
could be
at least
more-
like for me, I love coffee and beer. so-
exactly. So just pour the coffee in the beer. Just,
What
just
could be
done with
more
it.
Texan than that?
All right.
Coffee, beer, and tacos.
One thing you had reminded me, over in Europe, they're like really proud of their imports. So there was one place that had like Jim Beam just in the window, and it had like disco lights around it, and they were
What?
really. This is in Madrid.
Did you let them know that you were a Texan and that we make fun of Jim Beam?
They were just so proud of the fact that they were like the bar in the area that had
Wow.
imported Jim Beam.
Scott, you should have walked in that bar and been like, "Hey, I'll be your Jim Beam champion."
Keep in mind, like
Yeah, we've been drinking this since we turned 21. Since we were 18.
Keep in mind, like only 14% of people speak English there, so I don't know that like by not speaking English.
No bueno. No bueno.
Google Translate. Like, hey, fool.
Necesito medico.
Hey, there. I do this almost every day. What's up? And then Google Translate, and it's like, fool, listen.
Sign the contract.
Sign the
Yeah.
Sign the
contract.
contract.
And then also, I saw when I was in Portugal, I saw Shiner on the import.
What?
Yeah,
Dude,
That's awesome.
I'm proud. Shout out to Shiner. What's up,
Yeah, man.
Let's go down to Shiner Brewery.
Like honestly, Shiner's right on the edge of macro, but they'll always hold a close place in our heart just because that's the Texas beer.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just funny seeing them like as an import beer.
That's amazing. I
Well,
mean,
God,
like
we have a beer.
That's
Think about
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
As a state, it's like, this is our beer. What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, and I mean, from pre-prohibition, what we need to start talking about, and for our listeners, what we want to start doing, we want to start working on trying to make a mobile setup. We might even talk about getting a Patreon setup if you'd like to support us. That way we can go ahead and get interviews from the breweries that you want to see, and that way we can go ahead and check out and let you guys know what it's like directly from the source.
And honestly, we've got a whole crate of Flip It shirts to start doing something with.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
We got to get one to my mom.
We're
That's good.
Okay, after we give one to Scott's mom,
If you want to get a Flip It shirt, you should give us a shout out.
you got to get in line behind Scott's mom.
Sign the contract.
Anyway, so we've had a
wonderful
this is a
one-year
wonderful
birthday.
one-year cast.
a bunch of topics tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Hey.
So let's bring it back to the
Happy
beer
1 year.
because of
one year, yeah.
Bort. So let's a little bit of cheers. All right.
That was perfect.
Yeah, if we would have broken that thing, we would have really needed the Patreon.
Anyway, so let's bring it around to beer. So let's start with the excuse me. Goddamn. Okay, so the first beer we had tonight was KBS. As the bottle says, it's highly acclaimed and
highly
described as described as a flavored stout. Is good for everything a flavored stout ought to be good for.
Everything.
It's an ale brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in oak bourbon barrels. This one was a nice 12.3%.
12.3%.
So, Zach, what did you think of the KBS, the Carabrian Slater? No, the KBS from Founders.
I thought it was really good. Definitely strong. I'm going to give it a. I'm going to give it a solid 7. It was good. It wasn't the best in the world. I still think that we need to go ahead because I keep giving 7s and 8s and 6s.
Bitch.
No, I'm thinking that we need to have a Bud Light on here. That way we can go ahead and give our baseline with that shit right there. And maybe we should start doing
You guys
baseline.
want to have a shitty beer? Like,
It's the
podcast?
base. Yeah, like
We'll have the shitty beer Olympics. Is what we'll.
Okay, yeah. We'll go buy
Start our
like
new year.
Keystone,
a
Miller
variety
Lite,
pack
Bud
of
Light.
So our next podcast, let's get a variety pack of macros and just go to
through
town
it.
on it.
I'm already
Yeah.
hating this.
It was good. I like the strength on it, but it wasn't like super unremarkable kind of, or I guess remarkable or
Super
whatever.
remarkable. Okay,
Yeah.
word.
I enjoyed KBS. It was a good offering from Founders. Founders is a pretty good brewery, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good 8 because I really enjoyed it, actually. I didn't get a whole lot of it. I mean, I got, as much as you guys had.
Yeah, we deserve.
Well, it's hard when you're splitting 12 ounces
Yeah.
amongst 5 people.
True.
But no, yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Okay, cool.
I give it like an 8.5. Honestly, like I liked it a lot. When you had mentioned like hints of chocolate, I think that's maybe the note I noticed the most in this one.
That's a really good score for this style coming from Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think
It's been a year.
Scott has grown.
Holy shit. My boy.
this one is actually probably my favorite of the three that we had. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, nice, dark, hints of chocolate. I mean, definitely like that is like the perfect beer of like it's late.
Yeah,
I might be coding. I just want to cap off with something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull that out of the fridge.
Definitely,
and get that.
definitely a nice, long-term sipping beer.
Yes,
right, exactly.
Yeah. And which is what I like to look for sometimes. Bobby, what you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely a long-term sipping beer. Give it an 8 as well. I really appreciated it. I'm not really a fan of chocolate that much, but I don't know, something about that beer which is like kind of, it was a nice way to start things. I guess it's because the amount we had was kind of perfect. We did split it 5 ways, but that was a really good. I don't know. There's something about it. It was kind of nutty almost a little bit.
It was
like a tiny bit.
like a hazelnut.
Yeah. And that's what I took out of it first, and then it finishes with that chocolate note, and I was like, this is good. This is really good and like decent. And then it was pretty heavy, which is like, I'm a fan of heavy stuff, obviously, but like, I mean, yeah, just give it an 8. It's straightforward. Definitely not like a chugging beer. Don't recommend that for that beer, but like,
no,
definitely, if you have this beer at the KBS, definitely just sip on it.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So we're gonna shock at one after this, like our very first couple episodes.
So this is this is a 2018 release. So we definitely could have sat on this one for a lot longer.
What the fuck, Brad?
Well, I mean, I got excited, man. So reading on the back of this, it's actually interesting. It says that the when it was in the bourbon barrels, it was cave aged.
So they did that thing where they
put it in the cave.
Yeah, so they put this in a cave.
Where'd they find a cave?
I mean, it's Colorado, so.
Oh, dude, there's so many caves in fucking Colorado, dude.
Yeah,
you just throw a stone and.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Founders is not Colorado. Michigan.
Michigan.
So they had like.
Where the fuck is a cave in Michigan?
They
That's
had
like
like
as
a
flat
Great
as
Lake
shit.
cave or something like that.
Yeah, that's like
yeah.
the only way that you could find a goddamn
Maybe they
cave.
built their own cave.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke there.
That's pretty
but no,
Tucked
yeah,
their own
definitely
cave.
a great sipping beer.
Misspoke. Colorado versus Michigan.
I'm sorry. I
keep stepping on your toe. I am so sorry, dude.
Yeah, you're throwing his game off.
I know. That's what happened. That's why I thought it was Colorado. Shit. Fuck me. Definitely a great sipping beer.
Score that beer.
I mean, I think just like a lot of like really hyped up sought after beers, it was a little bit overhyped. Definitely a really good beer.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely not the best I've ever had. It was still a really good beer. The chocolate and coffee definitely went well together. It was a nice barrel aged offering. Really liked it. Probably gonna give it like an 8.75 out of 10.
Okay.
I think is where I'll put it.
Ooh, breaking into the 0.75.
I mean, like
That's a score we've never given before.
It's not quite an 8.5. It's not quite a 9. I mean, it's a really good beer, but I mean, it's like it's not quite in my top tier beers.
What was the top beer that we had here again? I forgot. We were just like, what the fuck?
I know we really liked Grace and Grit.
Grace and Grit, that was it.
Big Bad Baptista.
That one was also really good.
Go get that beer right now.
Let's move on to the next
I think
beer,
it's out of
guys.
season.
So the next one was Hephaestus, right?
Festus.
It's a clown shoes.
There we go.
Who's
Yes,
that?
Clown Shoes, which
Holy
Clown
shit.
Shoes basically just does two extremes. It's either Imperial Stout or Imperial IPA. That's what Clown Shoes does. That's basically all they do. They've got a couple of in between, but
They
like,
go big like the shoes.
That's what they really like to do. Let me take a look here.
It's a good reference.
Yeah, so
Clown
this was a
reference.
Russian Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with espresso, specifically espresso, 12.5% by volume.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and start it out. Zach, what do you think?
Okay, so this is going to sound kind of weird. I mentioned this during the cast to Brad. It's really strange, but it has a similar footprint as a smoked brisket does. That's going to sound really, really weird, but if you guys can think back and kind of remember onto it, it reminds me of a classically mesquite smoked brisket for whatever reason, and it was fantastic. The sweet and smokiness of whatever the wood was that you said it was oak? I mean, the traditional oak barrel aged?
It's normally bourbon barrels, which are oak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
that's
white oak.
that's kind of a really strange thing to expect and to kind of drive from that flavor, but it wasn't like a fluke either.
Holy shit. Okay. I want to read this.
Holy fuck! You're right.
Okay. No. This is crazy. Okay, let me read their description on the side here. Behold Hephaestus, god of blacksmiths, as he hands as he hands over the lightning bolts forged by the elder Cyclopes. I don't do Greek.
Cyclops?
No, man, that's not.
Let
a
me
C.
see it. Let me see it.
It's a K.
What is this?
Second line.
Cyclops.
Cyclopes.
I think it's Cyclops.
Okay, Cyclopes.
It's like Kylo, whatever.
Kylo Ren.
The elder Cyclopes to the almighty Zeus. This year's
Probably
version of the
copies.
beer is a bourbon barrel aged version of our Russian Imperial style Blakecorn Unidragon with 1,000 shots of hand pulled espresso. What the fuck? 1,000 shots of hand pulled espresso.
So if you're a coffee nut like me, if you're a coffee snob like me, hand pulled is different because usually you have continuous pressure all the way through. Hand pulled requires a lot more. It sounds weird, but hand pulled does require more skill because basically it is the hot water in there, and you literally squeeze it through a pinhole to allow for the steam to make that.
And let me read this sentence in its entirety. Blakecorn Unidragon with 1,000 shots of hand pulled espresso from Blacksmith in Texas.
Hey.
From Texas. This is not a Texas brewery. Added at barreling, so they added the espresso when they put it in the barrel, and it comes with a free lesson in Greek mythology.
Yo, what's that guy's name?
Hephaestus.
No, the guy who the blacksmith from Texas.
It just says from Blacksmith in Texas.
We're gonna find him.
We will find
We didn't
him.
know.
It's
Maybe that's
incredible, dude.
coffee
Yeah.
thing?
So Clown Shoes is from Ipswich, Massachusetts. Anyway, so Zach, please continue.
So solid. It tasted like an imperial stout, and I'm gonna go ahead and make this clear. As I say a lot of times when I drink some of these beers, I am a lager fan. I am a light beer fan in general. I go for drinkability just in general, because I've come to learn from my own brewing experiences that a lager and light flavored beers like that in general are a lot harder to make due to quality control. The one thing that I will say is that this is still a strong beer, a very strong beer, but it's so unique, and it's the reason why I'm going to give it an 8.5 tonight, because it reminds me of brisket. I keep coming back to that brisket smokiness with the sweetness of the stout, acting almost as like a similar kind of a pattern or a footprint to a barbecue sauce, a sweet barbecue sauce. It was wonderful. I loved it. I thought it was a really great beer.
All right, Joseph, what do you think?
Personally, for me, this one was actually not very memorable, but it was good. I do remember enjoying it while I was drinking it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a solid 7. It wasn't, like, amazing. I do really appreciate the work they put into it, though.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000 hand-pulled.
Yeah.
I don't
espresso
know if
shots.
that's. I mean, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't know if it's hand. If you could do 1,000 hand pulled, if they do,
Sure, you could.
that's
It'll just take a long time.
It take a fucking
manpower.
long time, like shit. I don't want to know how much that bottle costs.
It'd be curious to figure out how many hand-pulled shots of espresso they do at like Starbucks a day.
They don't do hand pulled.
Okay, well, at a real coffee shop a day.
Even real coffee shops don't usually do that.
Holy fuck! Shots fired.
Hold up.
Shots fired.
I think we're forgetting.
Shots pulled, dude.
Big Mike Coffee, I think, does hand
It's
pulled
called Aura
espresso.
Coffee.
Yeah, they got Big Mike's is gone, dude.
Okay, well,
Are you fucking kidding me?
the artist formerly known as Big Mike.
No,
my
they
God.
don't.
That's a great band name. Holy shit!
A hand-pulled coffee machine is not efficient for commercial use. A hand-pulled coffee machine is quite literally you have to heat the water first and then
Zach,
pour it in there.
all
and
you're
pour it
doing,
out.
is raising this beer to a higher pedestal.
It is on a higher pedestal. I don't like stouts, and this is fucking wonderful, man.
All right.
All that being said, it has to be judged by my taste buds, and I didn't. It was a 7. Yeah,
Okay,
That was it.
I mean, that's understandable. Everybody's got different tastes.
Definitely. I
Scott,
totally agree.
what do you think of this one?
This is my least favorite of the night.
1,000 hand pulled shots
Me too, man.
of
Scott,
espresso.
you know what, Brad? I agree with you on this one. Let's go against him right now. Let's smash this ass.
This is quickly turning
yeah,
into
I
a B
think-
emoji.
I think I'd only give this one a 6, but I think this is the classic case of like
The fuck boy.
I don't really like coffee.
The fuck boy.
So I don't like coffee, so I just like
Maybe that's why I love it. I have an
Like,
espresso
literally-
machine at home, dude.
I took that first sip and I was like, "Oh man, this just isn't as good as the first one." We
Right,
had.
yeah.
So it was just
And it's understandable. You know, if it's not your taste, it's not your taste. But can you respect?
I can respect a 1,000. That's why I get a 6 on a 5. But
God.
but like I mean, it should, I'll just be honest. It's just not my type of beer.
Okay.
I mean, I respect that it's a dark beer, and
Yeah.
I think since we've started the podcast, now a year in, I'm more inclined to drink a dark beer than I was like when we started.
Same.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 6, but it wouldn't be something I go to.
Okay. Fair enough.
Definitely, and impress your friends and family with this beer.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby.
So, like Scott said, it's been a year, and I came from a background of like liking ciders and lighter beers with more flavor.
Uh-huh.
And this did have a lot of flavor for sure. It was a very deep, like almost sought after flavor. Like, this is what we want out of this beer. And I
Right.
thought it was very specific, And normally with these stouts, it's like you get a really deep flavor and you got like a hint of something else. But I felt like this was just kind of like a general stout almost, but I still really enjoyed it, and just hearing the story
stout?
behind it was good. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Like, it wasn't the best thing I've ever tasted, but it was still really, really good. I probably would actually drink this on my own whenever I was like late night coding or just doing some cryptography or something like that. I don't know, but it wasn't the best thing I've ever had, but it was still really, really good. I think the reason why we also felt like that also is kind of biased is because the KBS beforehand had like a very like nutty profile,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the beginning it was like, oh, here's this flavor, like just like that. It's like, it's right there. And then this flavor was like, wait, what does this taste like?
Right.
So
yeah.
I feel like it's kind of, if we drank them a different order, maybe we have a different opinion. But I feel like
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think like the first flavor definitely was like, oh man, hey, first beer of the night, like, oh, this is really good.
Right.
And the second flavor was like, this is Russian Imperial style, like, this is deep and dark. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it's like you get it, and it's like, oh, this is okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
I can definitely understand where you come
so
from.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5, but I think if I drank it on a different day, it might be a different score.
Yeah.
So for right now, 7.5. But it was a good beer, not bad by any means.
Right.
It's just I don't know. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever tasted.
Yeah. Because here's the thing is like we this podcast we drank 3 super intense beers.
Super intense.
And we had tequila, and some of us.
Yeah,
had
we always
cider
started
as
out
well.
with tequila
Yeah.
today. But these are beers that I don't pull out unless there's a reason to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our 1-year anniversary, so of course I pulled out some special beers. So we had 3 intense beers. Definitely, you're right, Bobby. If we had them in any different permutation of this,
If we had these beers on separate like days, I think our scores would be.
These are all
dramatically
top
different.
scoring.
yeah,
honestly.
definitely. These are all really hard hitting heavy
Yeah.
beers. The minimum is 12.3% by volume on these beers. So that's that's
that's something I can respect. Like,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think like even when we talked about
like
like trying to
more than
make
a
my
most
cider
wines
have
or a lot of
more.
wines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like these are beers that I was only able to get through the monastery.
I think.
Right.
I think honestly as well. That's honestly what got me too. Is like for the second one, it was like I could definitely taste like the little bit of the alcohol,
Right.
And I was like,
That is true. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't really get like a lot of.
Yeah.
For the first
bad
one, it was
alcohol
like
taste,
the first one. It was like nut.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
So,
sounding,
Nut.
but the second one, I was like, I can taste alcohol a little bit.
But yeah, after read honestly, I appreciated this beer that we're talking about now, the Hephaestus. But after reading that story, 1,000 hand pulled espresso shots.
Yeah.
That makes me just respect it so much more because of what it is. But it was already a pretty good beer to me. definitely going to give this one, I think, probably an 8.5.
All right.
I think I liked the KBS a little bit better, but this is still a really good beer.
Yeah.
Clown Shoes always makes something that's pretty good. Like I've never been disappointed by Clown Shoes.
Sure.
They've always got. They're a brewery. Like okay, so you'll find a craft brewery, especially ones that are like here in Texas or just like around the general pretty near area. They've got like a lot of beers that like they offer year round that are just always like you can rely on that beer.
Who has the mechanical keyboard?
Zach does. Anyway, so like the beers around Texas or the beers around the few states around Texas, they've got like beers that you can just rely on, and like beers that like you can expect from them. Clown Shoes I really appreciate because I almost never see the same beer from Clown Shoes. Mm-hmm. Clown Shoes is always experimenting, and I really appreciate that, and I really respect that about them.
Now, one of my favorite ones from them is the Blakehorn Unidragon.
That's their one standard beer.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the thing.
They get it right.
That's a brewery that does an Imperial Stout as a standard beer.
Mm-hmm.
They take their Imperial Stout, and then they just kind of, like, vamp on it. Just do weird things with that Imperial Stout. So, yeah, 8.5 out of 10 on this one. But, again, it's a beer I super respect, especially after the 1,000 hand-pulled shots of espresso. That's amazing to me.
I'm going to change my score to 7.75 because that's brutal. Like, honestly, that's like one of the most metal things I've ever heard.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to our third beer of the night. This is BORTiversary.
Oh, baby.
Did I ever tell y'all what the alcohol on this one was?
It's like
I don't think so.
No,
14?
I don't think you did.
16.8.
Oh, I have something to say about that one.
16.8%. So this one is not exactly classified as like a certain style. It's just
I did think it was kind of
It's
weird.
beer.
yeah. So let me kind of read
The true champagne of beers.
Yeah, let me read the label a little bit. It's BORTiversary. It says 100% ale aged in bourbon barrels. This comes from a state where they must. This is from California. They must prominently display that it contains alcohol. Orange County, California, to be exact. So this sturdy beer marks our 8th year, and we are grateful for the outpouring of community. Together, we may our supporters, our brewery, and this beer grow in complexity and refinement over the years. I don't really see. Oh, wait, here we go. Sorry. Our 8th anniversary ale is loosely based on an English-style old ale, fermented with our house yeast strain, then blended using the Solera method for more complexity as the years go by. BORTiversary will age gracefully when cellared properly. I know I've had this beer for probably a year, at least.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it's definitely aged for a little bit. So Zach.
7.5 out of 10. It wasn't memorable. It was good. This is all going back to my not necessarily refined palate for stouts. So I'm going to go ahead and blame it on that for sure.
I wouldn't even really call it. This isn't a stout. I'm not going to call it
It's
a
like
stout.
I don't know what the fuck this is.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's a stout.
It's an English
because
old ale.
I'm calling it a stout because of the reasoning. My reasoning being is that
alcohol
it's
content.
well, there's the alcohol content, but even more so than that is the fact that it is as flavorful and almost chocolatey as a stout is. It includes those sweeter notes that you wouldn't usually find in a lot of beers that will usually try to go for that more lighter, weedy taste that we talked about before. It wasn't hoppy. It was truly sweet. Now, granted, it was not as sweet as the previous beer, the Clown Shoes, but that is also because I'm not sure whether or not this included the 1,000 shots of hand-pulled espresso.
It did not include that. I'm not even sure if it has coffee in it.
It doesn't.
But what I will say is that it was still good. I still enjoyed it. To be honest with you, we have so many good beers on the show that it's hard to give bad scores, and I just hope that I can.
Well, we'll see if next podcast we can elicit some bad scores.
I'm going to be eliciting some serious bad. Let's bring some. What was the Miller that we
Miller
got?
Fortune, dude.
Miller Fortune.
Oh my
If we can bring Miller Fortune on, that's going to be my first zero.
I still joke about Miller Fortune with Kayla, dude.
I don't joke about it because I don't like to talk about those days. That was whenever I was a poor college student.
I remember coming back from my like college internship, and you guys were like, "We found Miller Fortune." I was like, "Okay, let's try it."
Yeah, we were broke and we were trying to get a decent buzz and walk around town. And that
Fuck
was,
Miller Fortune. That's like,
dude, whenever we were all living together, man.
honestly, I can't picture you guys ever drinking that.
No, we had a trash
happened,
bag.
dude.
We had a trash bag of cans and we made a little beer.
It happened, man.
Just for jokes and shits and giggles.
man.
All right, well, back to Pottery.
Pottery. Okay, so this is my favorite beer of the podcast.
Yeah?
It was.
Yeah.
So I got some really interesting flavors out of it. Weirdly, it had like a sort of like caramel sort of
Dude, boy.
Yeah. We're on the same wavelength.
We'll get to that.
And
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit.
Maybe it's because I had like a Starbucks earlier with like some caramel in it. But anyway, so I was like more sensitive to that flavor. But it was good. I really liked it. I'm going to give this my highest score I think I've ever given a beer on the podcast, which is a 9.5.
Nice.
9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Freaking delicious.
You're not wrong about the caramel. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it caramel or caramel?
Caramel, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care either.
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with both Zach and Joseph. Like,
Was Joseph done?
Yeah, I was done.
that was honestly like the first thing I noticed was just the sweetness and the caramel flavor to it. I don't think this was as good as the first one in my opinion, but I did like it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I liked the second one, the Hephaestus. Yeah, I'd give this one like a 7.5. Like
fuck.
Like it would definitely be one that it's like you want to try something weird. Here's something
This
weird.
is definitely something weird.
Yeah.
This
so.
is definitely something weird.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird.
I mean, I don't know if I would drink it by myself. It's definitely like as a group. Let's kill
let's try
this
it
off.
out.
I'll talk a little bit about like this brewery itself too in a minute. So, Bobby, what did you think of the Pottery?
So, if you guys know me, I'm a pretty weird guy. Oh, you guys know that. But, this was like, honestly, this was hard because I had some conflictions going on. Like you said, the flavor profile is very just unique and it's out there. It's crazy. One thing about being on this podcast is I learned that I really, really, really like ales.
Yeah.
I think like the first one we had, or the first good one that I had was the Baptista,
Yeah.
the brown ale, and I was like, this is really good. I really like this.
Well, Baptista was an imperial stout.
Whatever. No. It was the
What,
creature.
Baptist?
Was it creature of habit?
Creature of Habit was a
The
brown ale.
Yeah, I really like. That's like top 10 beers of all time. And honestly, I'm gonna put this one on that list. And I think I'm gonna give this one. Honestly, I'm gonna give it a 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I don't know. It was like it had every flavor that you kind of wouldn't expect out of a beer, but it was still beer.
Yeah.
You know, it was still definitely that caramel flavor was there, caramel, whatever. But it had like some little date-ish, like kind of like a datey, like
a stone kind of fruit.
Yeah, like a aged fruit, like taste to it.
A little
and it
bit
had
of
like
that sweetness, yeah.
Yeah, and then that sweetness was like almost like a little bit citrusy, a little bit.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed that. It was just
Right.
like your mouth on this big journey. And I was like, I like ales, and this is perfect.
Yeah.
And that's why, if you guys didn't notice, that like, I think I was the last person actually to finish this, because I was savoring this
Yeah.
beer.
No, definitely. Yeah.
I finished mine because I
really-
liked it.
I really liked it. I was like, I want to actually savor this beer.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with beers, if like I want to hold on to it, I was like, no, just take a sip. You'll enjoy it. And
Yes,
it's like,
yeah, exactly.
It was good. So I'm going to give it a 10. That was amazing. I loved it. It's up there with...
Damn, is that our first 10?
It's like, it's
Ever?
definitely...
No,
I don't know.
I've given something a 10 before.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Definitely up there, creature of habit. I don't know if I would drink it every day, but I definitely would drink it like...
I think I
Special.
gave
It's
Austin,
special.
Yeah,
yeah.
man, this isn't really one that you
I
can drink
really...
every day.
Yeah, right.
I think I gave Austin Beer Works. I gave Austin East Ciders. I think
okay.
a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
God, that beer was so good.
But yeah.
My life.
What do you
I mean,
think, Brad?
I mean, Bobby highlighted a lot of points about this beer that's like really great. So this is from the brewery.
Yeah.
That's the name of the brewery is the brewery, and it's not spelled brewery. It's spelled BRUERY.
Yeah.
So
Brewer.
brewery,
Brr.
and they're from Orange County, California. So they've actually got two divisions. They got the brewery that we just have, and then the brewery. I think it's Trudeau. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. They have a sour division, and we once got an imperial stout from the sour division. Me and your brother Alan Michael had that one. It was too sour for us.
Oh, wow.
It
That would have
was-
sounds like that would have been my
Wait,
dream.
was this a raspberry one or something?
No, it was an imperial. It was a sour imperial stout.
Jesus, dude.
the
It was
hell?
Actually, it doesn't sound as great as
it fucking wrecked our taste buds.
Wow.
like you know,
That's impressive.
like yeah, me and Al Michael probably have like, you know, really crazy taste buds that when it comes to really strong beers.
Yeah.
It was too much for us. It was
That's kind of a big deal. For
yeah.
everyone
So
listening, yeah.
it was called the Tart of Darkness.
I saw
is
you.
what that one was
I just
called.
saw you cringe, dude.
Just remembering.
Yeah,
Thinking
so
back on it.
like honestly,
man.
like, you know, I'm all about sour beers. Sour beers are fun. Cider is fun. Avoid the Tart of Darkness.
That's probably why they did it.
You
It
want
is
to torture yourself.
It
I
is
guess,
it is the black cherry warhead of beers.
Wow.
So
okay,
I mean,
you're telling me to avoid this. You know, I just want it now.
I mean, like, try it
My
if
mouth
you
is
want.
watering,
It's
thinking
definitely
about sour things.
it's an experience. We couldn't finish it. Anyway, so but this beer was great. I really enjoyed this. Y'all were talking about, you know, the caramel and everything like that. So when we talk about, you know, brewing, we use, you know, different types of grains. Here in the United States, we use different levels of caramel malt, and basically what that means is we take some malt and we roast it to different degrees. You like, depending on the amount of flavor and caramel flavor that you're trying to elicit out of it, you roast it to different levels. In overseas in England and stuff, we use caramel. They use crystal. Crystal is much more caramelly than our caramel malts.
Like crack.
Yeah. So, and that's probably what they're using. Since this is kind of based off an English old ale style, they're definitely probably using this crystal malts, which are much more deeper, caramelly, sweet flavored malts.
Definitely got that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So they basically take a sweeter base malt and roast that to whatever, you know, doneness that they're looking for, and like, you know, that's definitely what you're getting out of this. I'm definitely going to give this probably a 9 out of 10. It's very unique. 16 and a half. I love those super high ABV beers. So yeah, definitely a very unique beer. I'm really glad we were able to have that.
That's one reason, like, also that I kind of got out of it is it tastes kind of meaty at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, is this a meat? But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't start off like that.
Yeah. No, it didn't end like that at all.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
like, it tasted like it somewhere in between the beginning and the end, but it was like completely different in the beginning and completely different at the end. And I was like, is this a meat?
I definitely agree with you on the sugary side. That's where the caramel must come in.
Yeah.
At, is that the actual natural sugars within the nectar of within the plant parts of the actual
good.
malt is being melted, which is what caramel is.
Yeah.
And that's very similar to, I guess, the process whenever you're making a mead, in a sense, you know.
Whether it was by accident or on purpose, like that's my beer besides other beers, other 10 beers. Like, that was good.
But you know, like I'll tell you, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've had this beer for probably about a year now.
Yeah.
Sitting at room temperature. I like, whenever I'm aging a beer, I always keep it at room temperature, and you know, that's something. When I probably first bought this beer, it was if we had drank it immediately, it would probably be really alcohol-y, really boozy, a little bit harsher and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what
Totally
happens.
see that, yeah.
That's what happens when you age these beers, is that alcohol burn just kind of mellows out over time.
Yeah.
And you start to be able to taste those sweet complexities, you know, a little bit, you know, deeper things inside those beers. I've got a beer that you and your brother bought me for my birthday, my 23rd birthday, that I'm going to sit on until I'm 43.
Wow. Which way is that?
It's
Iron Joe? Or
no, it's called the Private Stock Ale from AleSmith.
Okay.
And that bottle
Yeah.
specifically says age it up to 20 years. So I want to see what happens
In 20 years.
in 20 years.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude.
So when I'm 43, we'll figure out what's going on with that.
That's your apocalypse
gonna
beer.
be-
Welcome to the 20-something year of beers that are
We pour half of it out onto the table because the cast is finally 21.
Yo, do
There
you
you
guys
go.
think we're gonna live till like we're like 100?
Absolutely not.
I hope so.
Well, anyway, so this was a really fun 1-year anniversary. We had 3
happy
really awesome
anniversary, guys.
beers. We've got some good whiskey too to finish it off with after the podcast.
Shout out
Some
to
nice,
Woodchuck
Witherspoon.
Hard Cider.
Woodchuck. Woodchuck's got some good stuff. No, he's
I
right.
like them.
Dude,
No,
but it was-
so yeah, I was gonna
It
bring.
was just Scott, like,
I was-
shout out to Woodchuck.
So I was gonna bring this Italian cider, but freaking Total Wine was trying to gouge me for it, so I went with my backup Woodchuck. So
Woodchuck's got some good stuff.
I
they
like
do.
Woodchuck.
I do.
To me, Woodchuck's like the craft Angry Orchard.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I would say that. That is a
Never tried it.
comparison.
Maybe I'll grab
Yeah.
one.
I'll leave one.
You
for
never
you.
had Woodchuck?
How much wood could a woodchuck take if a woodchuck
Yeah,
could
man,
chuck
I'll get
wood?
one right after this guy.
They also do a pumpkin ale or a pumpkin
They have
cider
a whole
as well.
bunch of flavors.
Yeah, pear
they have
cider.
a whole bunch of flavors.
Anyway, yeah. So 1 year anniversary. We're glad that y'all are listening. If you've stuck with us since our very awkward first episode, we're glad that you're listeners. We hope to produce much more good content in the next year.
We've learned how to walk.
and
Now we're
gadgets.
going to learn how to talk next.
Yeah. So starting with our
Shitty beer cast.
shitty beer cast, our macro flight next.
Oh, that sounds fucking... Dude, don't say that. That makes... When I hear flight, I think it's something special. This is not special.
Macro
All right?
flight.
Take
Anyway.
this nice shot of Keystone. Fuck me.
So yeah.
Horse piss. It's one of the beers we have to do.
So thanks for listening. Be sure to
Horse
check
piss.
us out. beerstheroundtable.com. Tune in iTunes, Stitcher, now Spotify.
Woo!
Wait, we finally got on Spotify?
Yeah, we're on
Yeah,
Spotify,
we're on
man.
Spotify.
We're also on horse piss.
No, I knew we were on Spotify. I just wanted to reiterate we're on Spotify.
Google Play.
Spotify.
Basically, if there's a podcast on there, there's a good chance you'll find us on
Yeah,
there.
wherever podcasts are sold, we're there.
If you're listening and you want a Flipbit T-shirt and you know what that looks like, let us know.
Hit us up on the Facebook
Send
page.
us your size.
Send us a message.
Send us your size.
Be sure to also like the Flipbit.io or the Flipbit Facebook page,
Yeah.
Flipbit Studios. You can find us on Facebook. We're LinkedIn. We are. We have our own website.
We are
Flipbit.io.
GPDR compliant because we don't have any of your data.
We don't want it, honestly. Like, we don't want that.
So yeah. So once again, thanks for joining us, and be sure to catch us next time, and be sure to crack a cold one with your boys.
We're men.
It's like the last thing I got.
We're men.
Man.
The horse piss dude got me.
Dude, what got me was Scott.
Watch us next time as we drink horse piss.
Scott was... Yo, shout out to...
Watch as Zach tries to collect cow piss from the pasture behind
I
Brad's
don't know.
house.
It was just funny. It was that noise. Like, shout out to Woodchuck.